And welcome everybody to the Q&A of a Spiritual Warfare Friday. We are live, and it is 11:19 p.m. Eastern Time here at night. So I hope you all enjoyed the broadcast. And if you missed it, if you joined us live now, you missed the broadcast. The link's in the description of the show that just happened. So unfortunately, we weren't able to go live today with Diana Kettleman. She's out in Africa and doing a missionary trip to bring the witness of the Lord to the people. So Knights Templar, Dark Deception, what a great broadcast that was. And so today's Friday the 13th, and I don't know why people can call it bad luck. It's just like a lot of superstition involved with that and everything else. So anyway, so we got the phone lines open already. Let me double check the phone here. So if you guys want to call in and or just chime in the chat here, or whatever, try to put your questions in capitals. If you call in, and if your call gets denied, just don't call back. I got your number on caller ID, and I'll call you back in turn. Excuse me, I just got done eating some crackers. Yeah. So what's going on, Joanne, our new moderator? Bill O'Connor, what's up, brother? And yeah, thank you guys for moderating the show tonight. What's up, Tactical Billy? And a quick update too. And I know a lot of you guys are gun rights advocates, so there's a lot of good stuff going on here in Rhode Island, man. In the state, in the country, I should say, that's going to overturn a lot of bad stuff. So, Brother Tim, what's up, brother? Woo!
Woo. Is there a ringing in your ear?
Yeah. Woo.
Yeah. Hey, those were awesome wrestling videos you're letting out.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, hello to everyone in the chat.
I've been uploading them for a while on TikTok and Instagram. And I figured I might as well throw them up here, too, you know what I mean? Hopefully give some people inspiration to take care of the temple, you know?
Right, because I don't have any of that other stuff, and YouTube's the only place I can see them, so that was nice.
Yeah.
It was, man, I would not see, sitting at your desk behind that computer, there's no way to tell that you're as big as what you actually are. I'd hate to be body slammed by you.
Yeah, pick you up.
But anyhow, anyway, I'm just breaking the ice. So was just for questions and stuff today?
Oh, whatever. I mean, it's dedicated to you guys. So, it's like whatever you guys want to talk about, testimonies, questions, or just want to come shoot the poop, you know?
Right. Okay, well, cool. I'll let somebody else call in. A lot of people don't want to be the first one. So
yeah. So Tim's broken ears.
Everybody, don't be shy because I'm not. I've already broke the ice. And I'll go ahead and look like the idiot, so now you don't have to. That should free you up. But, all right, brother. You have a great night. I was just going to say that was a great show and presentation as always. Loved everybody in the chat, and we'll catch you next time.
Awesome. God bless you, brother.
All right, man. Woo. You too. Woo.
So, guys, what you guys think of the, Friday the 13th show here? It's like, crazy stuff really is. And, it's funny when you watch movies like, National Treasure, things on the Discovery Channel, the History Channel, all of Hollywood, how they glorify the Knights Templar. Like, this breath of fresh bread or something like that, and they protected the Christians and everything else. And you when you learn real history, it's like, what? No, nothing like that, and you get all these, here's the thing too. What Hollywood promotes is good. You got to understand this. What they promote is good is more than likely not good at all. Yeah, it's quite the opposite. The Hollywood promotes what the world wants. And it's like that series they got out there, the Chosen. And I know a lot of my friends watch that and everything, and I'm not, whatever. But you got to understand, Hollywood's not going to promote, and I've seen a lot of stuff in there. There's a lot of symbolism in there, a lot of things that are not biblical, I should say, right? So Hollywood is not going to promote something that's of good, you know what I mean? That tells all the truth, I should say. So, that's how they are. And the History Channel, same thing. They like to tantalize people because they know this stuff now about secret societies. They used to hide it for years. Now it's all in the open now, and it's a popular thing now. Conspiracy theories is a popular thing, symbolism. So they're hijacking and stuff. So when you have Hollywood or all these shows out there, and the networks, talking about Knights Templars, talking about the Freemasons and Illuminati and everything else. they're not, going to tell you anything that we haven't already told you. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to hold actually back half the stuff that we talk about, and they'll tantalize you to lead you into the show. So when you watch the show like that movie, oh man, what's that? I think it's called Unearthed on the History Channel, I think it is, or Discovery Channel, I forget which one, the History Channel. And the guy Scott, he goes around all over the country talking about Nephilim spots, giants and everything else, and he goes all over the place to do this, right? And I think he's got good intentions, but we know how the network is. So he'll go say at the beginning of the show, "Oh, is this proof that there was giants on the earth?" Like I forget what state it is. There's an actual wall around the city. It's a square wall. It's under the ground now, but the wall's like 100 feet high or something like that. And they tantalize people to tune into the program. When they tune into it, it's like, wow, they're going to actually reveal that these giants were real. Then at the end of the program, oh, no, this is natural rock formation. Yeah, because natural rock formation happens to have the same length, same height of the wall, perfectly squared around the city. Yeah, that's natural, right? Yeah, that naturally happens. that just naturally happens. Yeah. It's like, all right, a skyscraper or a pyramid, A pyramid it's all natural rock formation. Nobody built that. It's just natural rock. That's even, the same thing, which is ridiculous. So, Chloe says you need to make a Truth Radio t-shirt with you. Yeah, it's been on my mind to do that, and I never do. I don't know why. It's just like, so many times I got to make a Truth Radio show shirt, and I think it'd be cool with that neon green. That's my favorite color, that nuclear green that's up there with the Special Warfare Friday, that green right there. And that's always been my favorite color, for this kind of stuff too, And and my wrestling name, Bionic Dan Bidondi, I use that color, the logo on my shirt. And unfortunately, I got this tattoo years ago, and before I knew about the symbolism, and it's supposed to be a biohazard symbol, but come to find out it's the Unholy Trinity. It's an old pagan symbol years ago, and then now today's world is adopted as a biohazard. So be Bionic Dan Bidondi. I adopted that, and I have my wrestling uniforms a big neon green symbol, like a nuclear type thing. You know what I mean? And so I don't know. It's crazy, and so I would like to have this removed, but it's expensive to do that. So that'd be cool to have a shirt like that. You know what I mean? With that color, Truth Radio show. I think I'm just gonna go make one. Some of these places around here are just ridiculous with prices, but I've been meaning to do that for a while. Perfect show for Friday the 13th. Perfect subject, but yeah, deck swap light. Yeah, I don't know if you heard me in the video, but when I had Diana on for the first time, and me and her were like chatting before the show and afterwards, and it's like it'd be so cool to do. I think that right around there. Let me double check. I think right around there. It was a Friday the 13th back. I think this is only the second one this year. Let me double check here. December. No, it was December. All right, so I had her on December. We were doing like a Christmas show, I think it was, and we were right around Friday the 13th, and it was she couldn't make it that day, so. I'm like, all right, so why don't we just do it the next Friday the 13th? And I looked on the calendar then. It's weird, man. It's like the 6 months just flew by. It's crazy. I just remember like this was like a couple weeks ago. I was talking. We were conspiring to do the show. And it was right around December 13th. And I was looking through the calendar like I'm doing now on my phone right here. It's crazy. And I was like, oh, how about Friday the 13th? And she goes, yeah, that's cool. In June, so here we are. It's crazy how just time flies by. And even that, I was just like, we just recorded the show Sunday night. Here we are, it's Friday night. It's like crazy how time is going by so fast. It really is. It's like speeds right by. And here we are. It's like wow, that was quick. And it feels like just yesterday we recorded the show, and it's like here we are, like 5 days later. It's crazy, man. And Sleep Warfare Week. It's a little G sleep all along Warfare Week. And let me see. Perfect show for Friday. Yeah. See if there's any more other comments here. Didn't know today was Friday the 13th, but pay no mind to it. It won't bother you anyway. A lot of stuff. And yeah, it's crazy, man. It really isn't. And of course, Hollywood takes it to a whole new level with Jason Voorhees movies. Which I don't know what that at all had anything to do with Friday the 13th. To be honest with you, when you watch the movies, like this psycho kid that drowned in the lake, and all of a sudden he's a demon now, running around killing people. It's like whatever. What the hell is that to do with Friday the 13th? But yeah, the Hollywood likes to dramatize things like that and everything else. And I tell you what, when I was a kid, man. That scared the heck out of me. I wouldn't, we used to go camping all the time. They had lakes there and everything, and we have a Crystal Lake here in Rhode Island. So it always scared me when I was a kid, and to even go over there, So because of those darn movies, and that's what they do to you, And you remember the music in the movies, and it stains into your mind because when you're watching these movies, and you check this out. If you ever watch a horror movie, right? Shut off the volume, like completely shut the volume off. It's like dumb. It's just the music that just draws you in, and of course, like somebody's getting killed. And no matter how fast the girl runs, she trips once, all of a sudden the crawling guy catches up. What's up, Texas House?
Hey, how's it going there?
Oh, pretty good.
Doing all right.
Yeah.
Hey, I know the topic was Knights Templar, but I'm allowed to go off topic.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Hey, one of the things that fascinates me about, training firefighters and first responders and stuff like this, they do those false flag events.
Yeah.
And they have skills, but they're trying to polish them and teach them new techniques to get them really sharpened so they can execute when the occasion comes up that they need to participate in a real emergency. I can't help but think that currently in America right now, and other parts of the world, that there's training going on, but it's a false flag event, but they're using people. And I'm sure as everybody does in the last few weeks about the roundups.
Yep.
And who they're using for that now, other than just the federal boys that are supposed to be that, what are they called, INS or whatever.
Yep.
Now they're starting to use National Guard and Marines and stuff like that on American soil in the cities.
Yeah, that's what gets me, man.
But go back to, just go back away. You don't even have to go that far. I mean, 2016, one president says, we're going to build a wall, keep them out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Next one comes along, he opens the floodgates. Now we're in a situation where we want to get them out of here, right? But the thing about it is, 30, 40 years before that, no one really cared that much. It was only when they started these giveaway programs to attract certain types of individuals, the Gen X individuals from not only the Latin American countries, but from all over. That's males from a certain age to a certain age, single males. Now they're wanting to use them as a training prop to desensitize Marines and National Guards going against citizens, be it they're illegal, on American soil.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to keep in the back of your head what we're facing, the Noahide laws.
Yep.
Now, I don't know. Does this look like a training event to desensitize them, to corrupt the Marines, the Army, the National Guard's moral compass, so when the order's given to march on our soil again, to round up those that profess Jesus as Lord, you got a group right there that they will do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because I was going to bring that up. And if you want to hang on, this way you can elaborate on it too. So, when Obama came in, right? Obama, it was almost a mimic speech of Trump later. He talked about the borders, right? Obama, right? He said we need to shut the borders down. We need to keep illegal immigration down, and you got to be legal to come in this country, right? Nobody batted an eye to it at all. And then Trump does it. And I'm not cheerleading for any of these guys, but Trump does it. He's a racist, but okay for Obama to do it. So it's weird. So when the Democrats call for border protection, right, it's okay. No problem at all. And they call, let's go ride around electric cars, right? Now the roles are reversed. Now it's the Republicans calling for border control and electric cars. And, the same thing with the Republicans, too. They're just as bad. They criticized the electric cars for a while, right, for years. Now, because Trump promoted with Elon, now the electric cars are mysteriously good now. You know what I mean? And, now there's some thing going on with him and Elon, whatever the case. And now the electric cars are bad again. You know what I mean? They're junk to me, I think. But when Obama was using military troops on American soil, that violates posse comitatus of the Constitution. They're not allowed to police on American soil. That's the police's job. You know what I mean? And so that was okay. And now, and people, the Republicans were against that. They were calling it, it's a raised posse comitatus. But now Trump's doing it. It's the other foot. You know what I mean? It's like now it's okay to the Republicans, and now the Democrats are saying, "Oh yeah, it's a violation of the Constitution." It is a violation of the Constitution, but it's funny how they both them switch back and forth. It's
yeah, and it's all for props because if they were really concerned about illegal immigration 25, 30 years ago, they could have just reformed the immigration laws, and instead of taking 10 years to get into this country, a legitimate person could be in a matter of a month. With all the, your cell phone, you could run somebody's criminal history, and then actually set up border patrol devices that would keep people out if you were serious about it. But no one's serious about it because on the Republicans, or rather the business, entity side, they want the cheap labor. On the liberal side, they want the cheap vote. That's how it went for years and years and years and years. But now the agenda's changing because we're getting closer to what they really want to accomplish, which is to start, they're looking to start a big uprising. They want to get the military, police, and all these entities trained to go against a sitting population.
Yep.
Now you can sit there and say, well, they're undocumented workers and da-da-da-da-da. Well, what they're doing to them today is what they're going to be doing to us tomorrow.
Yeah, and
I don't agree with people coming over here illegally. I really don't.
Yeah.
But I don't like the tactics that have been used over the last decades to get them in here. And then what they're doing now to get them out, it's just a training camp.
Yeah.
It's a false flag.
Yep.
They're not serious about removing them. They're serious about getting them trained up to move against a sitting population in cities, towns, counties, here.
And when Trump sent the Marines
our Marines go overseas and bomb cities and stuff like that, but you don't see them here, but you will.
Yep.
You will see military action here before long. Anyways, I just wanted to throw that little mixture in there and see what other people got to say.
All right. Well, thank you so much, my brother.
All right. Talk to you later.
Yep. God bless you.
Yep.
So basically, he's right, and not basically, he is right. Now, it's crazy because Trump sending Marines to California. People are like, yeah, go kick their butts. You know what I mean? And normally I would, say, the police go in and do their job. Yes, absolutely. They should go in there, get rid of those people out there, right? Absolutely. But sending the Marines in there, that's evasion of posse comitatus. No matter how good or which side you're on, it doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat. You have to agree according to the Constitution. It's a violation of posse comitatus. And this is exactly why I stay independent. And because it is crazy, man. Because no matter what side you pick, okay, you're gonna get bashed by somebody or loved by somebody. And when I'm in the middle, you get bashed by both sides. So I'd rather be in the middle and tell the truth. You know what I mean? And for the foremost, I do agree with a lot of conservative ideas. Yes, that are Christian, are constitutional. However, Democrats have some good views too when they are good. But other than that, I don't like to go to no right or left wing at all. You know what I mean? I say right down the middle, and so I'll support anybody, whatever party you are. If you support the Constitution, the law of the land, you know what I mean? I'll back you. And right here in Rhode Island, we have politicians, Republicans and Democrats, who are out there fighting for our Second Amendment rights, who are out there fighting for the right to life, you know what I mean? And so, again, I support the person, not the party, That's the way everybody should vote. And to me, if I had my way, the Republican and Democratic Party would be both abolished. Yeah, and they should be. You know what I mean? And we should just have people running, not parties. You know what I'm saying? That's the way it should be. People of the ideal who that person is. And if they don't follow the constructs of the Constitution, like the good old days, hey, you'll be arrested. Right? If like the stuff that the people are doing this today, if they did it 100 years ago, people would storm that state house, they would storm that city hall or whatever the case, and drag them out on their butts. And publicly tar and feather them, make a public humiliation out of these people. And in some cases, they would hang them in public square. If it was a sheriff that was corrupt, doing all kinds of stuff, and then he got caught doing it, they would literally hang them in the middle of the street. Or worst case, less than that, they would arrest him, whatever. They would go right and put him in his own handcuffs in his own jail cell and appoint a new sheriff. If the mayor got out of control, they would do the same thing to the mayor. And that's when these people, officials, public officials, all of them, judges too, they had the fear of God in them in this country. Yeah, they were appointed to do their job, and if they didn't do their job, they paid for it? People, just ordinary people. And the cool thing is, so back then, everybody went to a town hall meeting. Everybody, even the kids. So normally it's a Tuesday night. It's a lot of the cities and towns here in Rhode Island. Every Tuesday night in Rhode Island, and I don't know what state or wherever you live, you got to find it out. But once a week, your city or town will have a meeting. It's a town hall meeting, city council meeting, whatever. And they would discuss things on a local level. You know what I mean? If they're going to put a stop sign at the corner over there or whatever the case. Small little things that affect, if you go with the small levels, you can make a big effect. You know what I mean? So and that's why these laws pass. You wake up overnight, it's like, when the heck did they put a stop sign over there? We got enough of these stop signs. Well, if you looked on the city hall, the town hall's register, they were doing a vote on it. You could have went down there and voiced against it. But people don't do that no more. They're too busy with everything else instead of getting involved with their towns and all that. And that's what happened in this country. Again, the whole town would be involved. They would drag the kids in there too. And if the city council or somebody proposed to do something they didn't like, it got shot down real quick. And it was ended right then and there. There's no little theatrics BS back then. These officials had the fear of God in them. And if they were held accountable big time. Now today, we got a bunch of little wusses out there who, we're mighty people, whatever the case. Yeah, you're not mighty because these people are doing whatever the hell they want. And nobody's doing nothing about it. When you got a group of small elite doing what they want, and you got thousands and thousands of people outnumbering them thousands to one, there's a problem with that. Because they have no fear of God. They have no fear of you. Because they know they can get away with things, and they know you're not going to do nothing about it. Versus 100, 150 years, especially 200, forget it. Yeah, they wouldn't even think about doing that. And if they did, because when they get power, they get corrupt. They go, I'm untouchable. And people stomp them out real quick. You know what I mean? One way or another, you got stomped out. And but that's where we need to install the fear of God back in this country. We need to hold our leaders accountable, and you'll have less corrupt leaders. Now, the progressives are the worst. They really are. They for some reason chose the Democratic Party to hide into, and the rhinos are the corrupt people in the Republican Party. So they work hand in hand anyway, and it's like basically the progressives are more these disgusting people. They really are. They're the ones that say like you should be able to have sex with kids, teach kids how to pleasure themselves at a young age, and right here right now it's disgusting. So yeah, brother Craig's calling, so I'll get back to it in a minute. What is up, brother?
Hey, how you doing, brother Dan?
Oh, pretty good.
Yeah. That was that was a really great program tonight.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, and it reminded me of a story that I read about, an actual account of what some crusaders did. There was a synagogue that they rode upon, and they ordered all the people to get in there. They locked them in. They set the synagogue on fire, and then they started singing hymns while, it was just really sick account. I'll never forget reading that. That was just, it was really bad. Yeah, like with the situation in Los Angeles, I kind of go back to the 10th Amendment of the powers that are not reserved for the federal government or reserved for the states. And like the National Guard, the president cannot call up the National Guard because it's a simple violation of the 10th Amendment. Only the governor has the power to call up the National Guard.
Yeah.
And that's just the way I look at it. I know they're governors and no count most of the time, but he was right that it violated states' rights. And
well, what happened this side with Obama, because Obama started federalizing the National Guard. The National Guard, yes, is supposed to be under the control of the governor. He's because you got a constitutional militia and a state militia is the National Guard, but the constitutional militia is we the people. So the state militia is under control of the governor, and it's supposed to be nothing to do with federal. So it was Bush too. He started the idea, and then Obama started federalizing all the local police departments and the National Guard, mostly in the National Guard. And so now it's under federal jurisdiction now when it's supposed to be state. And so now that goes into the hands of Biden. Now Trump to say, hey, we can use the National Guard for what we see fit, which they can't because it's a violation of the 10th Amendment, like you said. And then also, since they become federalized, guess what? Now they're federal troops. Now it violates posse comitatus. Now the National Guard, they were always allowed to help out in emergencies, absolutely, because they're a state militia. That's fine. But the U.S. military, they're not allowed to police our military soil.
Right. Yeah, very well said. If you look at the what came out of 9/11 under President Bush was the Department of Homeland Security and the Immigration Customs Enforcement. And there's the constitutionality of those two entities right there.
Yeah. It's funny how they're praising Homeland Security right now, right? And it's so hypocritical because it's the same Homeland Security hundreds of miles from a border. They would pull a random citizen over, search their vehicles, put them through a little hell, right? And they would give these people a hard time. And like they pull you over, and you don't have to. The Homeland Security, they have no authority to do that. And if they ask you question, they can't question you for ID or anything like that. But they were doing that. Now all of a sudden, Homeland Security is the good guys. They'll get the hurricanes because Homeland Security is like because what happened was during Hurricane Katrina when FEMA, they wanted dismantled, because they were doing illegal things and everything else. They didn't even help anybody. So what Bush did to protect FEMA and ICE and Viper and all that, he created a thing called Army 5, which puts all those things under the wing of Homeland Security. So Homeland Security is the top entity in control of all those little agencies. So so it puts them under that control. So now they can't. You know, what I mean, it was an excuse for them not to hold the FEMA liable, like ICE here. You know what I mean? Like now all of a sudden Border Patrol is the good guys. When forever they were doing many illegal things and everything else, and you know, again, having checkpoints within 200 miles from the border. You know, it's like, really? So I'm not giving you my ID. You know, I'm an American citizen. I don't have to prove nothing to you. You don't even have the jurisdiction or duty to even pull me over. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous, it really is.
And like the TSA, that also came out of 9/11.
Yeah, the TSA is now Army 5 too, under Homeland Security. That's why you see TSA agents, they also got a Homeland Security patch on them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
the toilet seat administration.
Yeah. Yeah, and the and the Patriot Act. If I remember reading it some years ago, and I also had found out that, like, if you had more than, I think, $10,000 in your bank account, they could declare you a suspected terrorist or a terrorist outright. I mean, it's some really scary stuff.
If you go to CVS in some place, right, you got a money order, even for $5, they want to scan your license because Homeland Security's making them get your information because they want to know where that money's going. It's none of the damn business. You know what I mean? Like, so I told the lady, I said, no offense to you, I know what this is about, but it's none of Homeland Security's business how much I get, where I send it. It's my money. I'll send it to who I want, when I want, you know? And that's just a way of overreaching. They'll use, just trying to look for terrorists. Yeah, because a terrorist is going to go to CVS to get a Walmart to get a money order. You know what I mean? It makes no sense, man.
Yeah, it's really crazy. And like another topic, which, you know, you got the Israel and Iran.
You know what I mean? It makes no sense, man.
Conflict going, and they want the U.S. to get into it, but I mean, we're already, and we've already got overseas bases in over 70 countries, and we've already got military in the Middle East. I mean, it's like, I don't think it's so much the people that want the war, but it's the neocons that are pushing it to get us involved in another war. Because I think I think Dr. Ron Paul's right. I think a lot of people are waking up to the wars and to the issues of freedom and things related to that. Yeah, we should just stay out of the Israel-Iran conflict.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's disgusting.
The Congress is supposed to declare war anyways, and we haven't had a constitutional award. World War II was the last, I guess you could say, legal war we had, and since then it's been basically the president can declare a war without authorization of Congress.
Yeah, the War Powers Act. That's how FDR stayed in office for three terms.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Another thing I thought about is the presidents are limited to 2 terms.
Yeah.
But you got Congress and the Senate; they can run unlimited. And
especially the Senate, it's 6 years a term, and I think that's the one mistake the fathers did. You know, because the Congress is 2 terms, Senate's 6 terms. I think both should be 4 years and 2 years each, 2 terms each. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that, and it's also my opinion that the rules of the Supreme Court need to change. It needs to go from being appointed to at least to amend the Constitution to where people can vote on each 9 positions of the U.S. Supreme Court. I mean, that's just my opinion. I think it should go to direct vote by the people for each 9 positions, and they serve like maybe a 1 4-year term. Then after that's vote again on each 9 positions of the U.S. Supreme Court. That's just something I've really thought about and I come up with.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if you probably have a different view of it, but
Oh no, I agree 100% because like it's constitutional, and the constitutional standards, and like yeah, we're not supposed to. George Washington in his farewell address, he warned about us getting involved as empires and joint alliances with other nations because they're going to bring us down. You know what I mean? And we were never meant to start a UN. We were never meant to be, when you watch the military commercials on TV, it makes me sick. Oh, we're a global force. We're not supposed to be a global force. We're supposed to be a force to protect this country. That's it. We're not supposed to have bases of troops outside these borders unless we're actively at war with them. You know what I mean? And we have over 100 countries we occupy right now, over 100. And bases, over 100 bases all over the world, and we're not supposed to be doing it. The United States' military is supposed to protect the borders, and that's it, and protect our homeland. That's it. And none of these wars with Iran, the Middle East, and none of this has to do with anything. There's zero threat to our sovereignty or freedoms at all. And we're out there fighting for freedom and protecting democracy. And the other thing, too, we're not a democracy. People don't understand it. And when Hitler said you tell a lie long enough and big enough, so when you grow up, you hear your teachers, the pundits all over the media, Republican and Democratic presidents, we got to protect this democracy. We're not a democracy. And if you look in the Federalist Papers, the Declaration of Independence, the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, you will not find that word at all. We're a constitutional republic. A republican democracy is 2 different things. And everybody here should be a big threat to democracy. We all should be a big threat to democracy because democracy is ruled by mob law, mob style law. It's like you don't matter. So a republic, yeah, the majority vote get how the law's in, but they also support the minority as well, you know what I mean, without infringing on their rights as well. So that's what's supposed to be a one nation or a republic, you know what I mean? The republic and democracy are 2 different things. And all in history, right, all countries that were democracy ended up being dictatorships, and that's why they tell us all, we're a democracy, this democracy. We're not a democracy, and our form of government is a republic, a constitutional republic.
Right. Like before the Civil War started, basically all the states were basically, all you had were basically state militias everywhere.
Yeah, and that's us, the people,
Mm-hmm.
Well,
and that's where and like in the Civil War, that's where the Confederacy got their color from. The gray color was from the militias because all the militias had gray uniforms, north and south. That's just a little trivia I wanted to throw in there.
Yeah. Oh, you're right.
And it's kind of crazy. And you got the Palantir, which is going to be another database. I mean that just it really infuriates me about the Palantir. I mean now it seems like you said, like the Republicans and Democrats, oppose it, but then when one side supports it, the others go along with it.
So I've been laughing this whole time. And electric cars are bad, now they're good. Then now they're bad again.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's like we support border control. Now we don't. Now we do. It's like unreal, really is. And these presidents, they go back on. It's just crazy. It's a mind job. And it's that pendulum, you know what I mean? That little pendulum, left and right, left and right, left and right.
Yeah, it's like you had like the anti-war movement during the Iraq War, and then when President Obama got into office, you didn't see him anymore.
Yep.
And I was going like, I mean, what happened to the anti-war movement? But I mean, it's still around, you know. But it's just one side just uses like a anti-war or and then some flip-flop on the Second Amendment, of course, and depending on what's politically convenient at the time.
Yeah.
For example, it's it's like Patrick Henry said, "Give me liberty or give me death."
Yep.
And you know,
give me liberty or give me death.
yeah. Patrick Henry, he was one of a kind. He was a true patriot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you have a happy Shabbat.
You
and
too,
I'll
brother.
get off the phone and let someone else talk.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you so much, brother. Shabbat shalom.
Yeah, Shabbat shalom.
Again, I think Swamp Lake called here. The reason why I know the names of frequent callers, I saved the names. Swamp Lake, what's up, brother?
Shalom, brother.
Shalom.
And some great calls. Was listening to is that Craig?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. That's what I thought. Man, he sounds like he's from Mississippi, dude. Yeah, it was a great call and all his thoughts. I was just right on there with each one. Like, that's right on. That's right on. Who was it? Timothy? Tim called, and just all of them great call. That's a good show for. You did that because it was Friday the 13th, and the Philip and the King Philip and the Pope and the execution of the Jacques de Molay, right?
Yep.
That's why you did that on Friday the 13th. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect show, man. And on that, you know, kind of want to say this to you and to the people of the family or whatever, you know, the brothers and sisters watching. When there are shows like that, you got it attracts a mixed crowd, if you know what I'm saying.
Yep.
There's you say there are initiates watching those shows. They might not be commenting. They might be commenting. Some of the people that are in the comments that there's a little sound a little weird. There's a little different thing there. There's a little scuffle or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them aren't trolls. These are people that are looking at certain things through the prism of the mysteries. Because, and then on a day like Friday the 13th, if they ain't got anything going on, what kind of, or if you're one of them, then what kind of shows are you going to be looking at? Stuff about about Jacques de Molay and the Templars and the 13th and and Philip and the massacre. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's not just us watching that stuff. I know you know it, Dan, but I'm just saying to other people in the chat stuff. So you got to temper everything because you want people to come to Christ in the final equation. Really come to Christ. Not the interpretation that some people may have it. On that note, some people will be following what I'm saying. I wanted to, if I could, just read a scripture, a couple of them real quick. Is that cool?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All right, man. Thank you. Where are we at? this is to maybe someone else.
If you give it to me too, I can put it on the screen too.
All right. I got to find. I got 2 Bibles out. My eyes are going. Matthew 10. What is it? 10:27 and 10:28. Yeah, Matthew 10:27, 10:28, and then I'm gonna jump over to Revelation 3:11 and diddle around in Revelation 3.
Oh, 1 second. Revelation 3 KJV.
After I do the Matthew 10 thing.
Sure.
Matthew 10:27 thing. What I whisper in your in darkness or whatever, that one.
Yep.
On it. All right. This is Jesus. He's talking to his folks. All right. And this is to, you may have a different, maybe watching this, you may have a different understanding of things, and you might have a mystical understanding, right? This is talking to you. This is talking to everyone, but this is definitely talking to you if you're coming from a mystical understanding of Christ, right? This is what Christ says. Matthew 10:27. What I tell you in darkness, that speak ye in light. And what ye hear in the ear, that preach ye upon the housetops. Meaning, the secret is not to be a secret. That's where all this flips. It's the thing that can, the truth that you hear in the darkness that can benefit your fellow man is not the brothers that you're sworn next to like you think it is. This is to benefit humanity. You hear the secret. If it benefits your fellow man, you speak it from the rooftop. That's the flip on all this stuff. Next verse. And fear not them which kill the body, but are able to kill the soul, but rather, and are not able to kill the soul, but rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. And that's the Most High God. So, if you have taken an oath, if you are feel you're bound to things for threat of physical punishment, you don't fear that. This is to follow Christ now. This is what he says. You fear only the Most High God that can kill soul and body in hell. Straight up.
Yep.
Okay. I'm off talking to the fellow travelers and whatnot. Jumping to Revelation 3. A couple places, 3 and 11.
Oh, go ahead. Well said,
Man,
brother.
I appreciate you. All right. You're on it, right?
Yep.
Okay. Behold, I come quickly. Hold fast which thou hast, that no man... No, I'm sorry. It was 3 and 10. But let me just go back to that one. Revelation 3 and 10. And I know this is Jesus in Revelation talking to the messengers of the different churches, the angels of the different churches. All right, so 3 and 10. Because thou hast kept the word, but this is to any of them could be to the way I see it. Any of them could be to the end time saints. I mean, we can read. I don't feel like it's taking this out of context. That we could read any of this stuff now, where we're at in time and who we are. This could all apply to us. I feel like that. You may not. I don't want to, hijack your show and sound like a heretic or whatever on here, but I feel like this is us. Any of these, and Revelations 2 and 3 could be us.
Yeah.
Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Behold, I come quickly. Hold fast that which thou hast, what you do have, that no man take thy crown. I kind of said that a couple other times, and I called in and tried to in the message in the comments. The enemy wants to, like, what we do doesn't change. The times are bad, things are happening. You look on TV, there's riots, there's a war teeing off over here. The Dark Kingdom is making moves on many fronts, it's obvious. Mm-hmm. But your marching orders under Yeshua, we are a priesthood after the order of Melchizedek, after Jesus within that. So our marching orders don't change. The doctrine of Christ never changes. Like, we don't change. So, behold, I come quickly. Hold fast which thou hast, that no man may take thy crown. Like, the enemy always wants to take your crown and tarnish or take your breastplate, your salvation and your righteousness. Make you not do right. Alter how you operate. You don't alter how you operate. Movements, the spiritual movements, everything you do, you follow Christ, you still return hate with love. It's hard to do. And the enemy's got it all set up where we're to be tempted to go into anger. It's going to be to blast people before it's over with. As things crumble, you don't do all that. That's what the enemy wants you to do. Yeah. You don't do that. Don't get your crown taken. Don't get your salvation. Don't relinquish your salvation or your righteousness. Keep your breastplate on. Be righteous. The two are connected. You let the breastplate, you get the one thing in too bad a shape or lose it, then your crown's going to come off after that. And then I'll get out of your hair, man.
Oh, yeah, it's good. Good lesson, bro.
On 3, but 17, 3, and I was on 3 and 10, and then I'm jumping to 3 and 17. That's where he's talking to the Laodiceans, but I feel like it's the same thing if you catch the tail end of it. Because each church has something good about it, but they all apply to you. I mean, I feel like you take these things on and apply them to yourself and how you operate. Because thou sayest, I am rich and increased with goods and have need of nothing, and knowest not that thou art wretched and miserable and poor and naked. That could apply to a lot of people spiritually, especially churches in the West.
Oh, maybe to give you an example of that, man. I remember it was during the scamdemic, whatever. I think 2020, 21, 20. I forgot exactly when. So God sent me a warning because at that point I was like, my wife was like, oh, we're at a state that we don't need nothing. I mean, we're living comfortable at the time, right? And
right.
Not to sound disgusted, but I was sleeping undressed, right? So because this applies to this whole thing. So, oh man, it was awesome but horrifying at the same time. So out of a cold sleep, I'm sound asleep, and all of a sudden I heard a voice, the sound of thunder, woke me right the heck up out of my sleep. All I heard is Revelation 3:17. I had never in my life I probably read through it once, so I had no, when you memorize verses and stuff, had no clue what the heck that meant. But it woke me up out of a sound, completely wide awake. It scared me, right? And it's like Revelation 3:17. Right away, I rolled over to my phone, looked up Revelation 3:17, and that verse comes popping up, and I'm like, we were just talking about that day too, like before we went to bed.
Wow.
And the Lord, really, I got off that bed real quick, put my shorts on. Not to sound gross, but I was naked, and I put my shorts on, got on my hands and knees right away, and I was horrified, but I don't know how to say it, the mixed emotions, because God talked to me. That was a great part of it, but he also sent me a warning too. So I was humbled by it. I loved it, but I didn't like it because it was a warning, you know what I'm saying? So, but I heard the voice of God, and there's no mistaking that. And it never happened to me in my life. That woke me up right out of silent sleep, and I'm wide awake. I'm hearing Revelation 3:17, loud
That's
as it could be, and I'm
amazing.
looking at my wife. She's sound asleep, but I heard it. Nobody else
totally
did.
believe it.
Yeah.
That's how all the prophets. That's how. Not all, I don't know about every instance, but vast majority of them, they're either scared or they're startled. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Usually by when the whatever it is, the message or the vision comes or whatever. You know, but it got your attention with the thunder to wake you up, and what you just heard 3:17.
Yeah, his voice was like thunder. It was low. I didn't hear no thunder, but his voice was, oh man, it was like so loud and like bassy, like, and right through you, like, and you think we wake up the whole house, nope. And I'm the only one who heard it because I was so loud.
I feel like this is going into basically the scamdemic there, part 2 kind of thing is to me is what's we're like right on the edge of going into that also.
Yeah.
Plus a million other things. Like everything that Craig said and all that, totally all that, yes, happening, 20 fronts, plus the bio war. I don't want to say the wrong thing on your show, but the bio war, war aspect or whatever, the flus and the sicknesses aspect that's coming back. Because thou sayest, I am rich, increased with goods, and have need of nothing. This is the church in the West, right? Laodicea. And knowest not that thou art wretched and miserable and poor and blind and naked? I counsel thee to buy of me gold tried in the fire, that thou mayest be rich, and white raiment, that thou mayest be clothed. These are all of a spiritual nature, obviously, he's alluding to. And that the shame of thy nakedness do not appear, and anoint thine eyes with eye salve, that thou mayest see. That's everything, all of a spiritual nature.
Yep.
As many as I love, I rebuke and chasten. Be zealous, therefore, and repent. Whoever's going through things, there could be an aspect of chastening going on here, a final, a little bit of a purification going on to people right now. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him, and he with me. This never changes. This is always there until the door finally closes. If anyone's listening, the door is not open. You feel anything? This is not by chance. I will come into him and I will sup with him, and he with me. This is the Father of Jesus Yeshua to us, to anyone that's there, that answers. To him that overcometh will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I also overcame and am set down with my Father in his throne. He that has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches. There's an offer there. This is like a lot. This is to anyone. This is to at any point in time in history before now, but also to the end time saint. To him that overcometh will I grant to sit with me in my throne, even as I also overcame. But this is the price. You have to overcome like he overcame. Everyone before us in history, especially in the West, has kind of had it a little bit easier than us until you get to now. If you're saying you're following Yeshua, that's cool, but you're fixing to actually have to follow to the end.
Yep. Those who endure to the end shall be saved.
Yes, right. So I know I sound like a broken record. I probably said more or less the same thing the last probably a couple times I called, but it's just what's on my heart every time. And I look at all this stuff, and I could call and talk about this is happening, or hey, they violated posse comitatus or this, but other people have already said that, and anyone can, people can see the moves if they don't understand them through every executive order, through tracking the New World Order in every detail. They understand in their spirit what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the fortification of the word is kind of where you need to stay focused in the midst of all of this. Your marching orders don't change. The way you have to operate under basically the priesthood after Jesus, or after Melchizedek, under Jesus, is it doesn't change. So we have to operate this certain way.
Yep.
And that was it. I just want to throw some things out there to maybe edify the body there, and a great show. And Miss Catherine, if you're listening, it was an awesome show, even though it was a rerun. It was perfect. Awesome. And shalom, and love y'all.
Love you too, brother. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, good calls, man. And I think somebody else wanted to call here. Two Limps, last hour news. Yeah, definitely give me a call. But yeah, it's good stuff, man. And that was a revelation, man, I tell you. If anything would shake you spiritually and physically, that's the voice of God. I don't care who you are, how tough you think you are, whatever the case. When his literal voice speaks, you hear it. You have no choice. It is thunderous. And then it makes you wonder, too. It's like, because when the Lord talks about actually seeing his face, that, his radiance alone, we drop dead from. We're not built to see his face. If he was to pop his face in the middle of the sky right now, every one of us would drop dead just from his radiance. He wouldn't even have to speak one word. And his voice is power. I'm telling you right now, I'm a living testimony of that. His voice is power. And when he says something in creation, when he talks about creation, his voice spoke, let there be light, boom, there's light. You know what I mean? Like his voice is creation, and it's amazing. And when he speaks to people, it's like you get your attention. He gets your attention real quick. You stop what you're doing, whatever the case, and wake up in the middle of the night out of a sound sleep, and you pay attention real quick. And for the whole while, like people say, oh, it's just a coincidence. How that could be a coincidence? I never knew that rest at all. So 480, you're on the air. What's your name?
Yeah, my name is Jack. I'm actually Jack Reed. I've been on the chat before.
Oh, what's up, man?
Hey, yeah, no, just blessings to everybody, and we're talking about this situation. I'm jumping a little bit to something that's very obvious. It's on my mind, and it's this Hegelian dialectic, which you've probably talked about, but the previous guard created a problem, bringing in so first of all, I'm a dual national. I've got two citizenships, Mexico and the USA. Oh, cool. I lived about 21 years in Mexico, about 27 in the States, going back and forth. So with that being said, they created a problem, and now they're offering the solution. And I'm going a little bit back in your in this show. When we're talking about the military being used and the extreme measures that are happening, that's the only way they were able to do it. Because the population is asleep, and if we're talking about illegals, why would they give that a free pass? Only because they're not aware of what it implies to have the federal come in and start encroaching on the states against like you were talking about, the 10th Amendment. And we're deep in it. Once the militarization occurs, especially in the U.S. on U.S. soil, from our military, it's that's a total threshold that we've crossed, and we're just along for the ride. God continue to guide us, protect us, empower us.
Yeah, well, me and my buddy Tactical Billy in the chat room were laughing because, unfortunately, we have a U.S. representative and Congressman Jack Reed. We have a Jack Reed in Rhode Island here. He's a U.S. representative, and he's corrupt as hell. I mean, he's bad. So I was laughing for a second because my buddy says, "Oh, is that Jack Reed from the Rhode Island representative?"
Oh, no, not at all. As a matter of fact, Reed is my second name. I'm not going to give out my paternal last name, and as a Mexican citizen, we use also our maternal last name. I'm not going to give those out, but no, nothing to do with that.
Oh no, we know you're not him because number one, he would never call into the show because this guy is like evil, plain and simple, and
yeah.
That was just the name. The first to hear around, you had Jack Reed or Michael think of this guy's been in office for like 20 years or something that's ridiculous, and does nothing for our state. Just collects the paycheck. That's it. And
yeah. So going on that, on the corruption, as I said, and by I believe, I mean I may not sound like it, but I am. I don't consider myself 50-50. I consider myself 200%, 100% Mexican, 100% American. I've been a court translator, even in immigration, federal immigration courts. I speak Spanish as well as I'm speaking English right now, even though but my point is, with my experience as a Mexican in Mexico, we wouldn't, like in Mexico, we wouldn't be doing what is happening right here. When I see the Mexican flag being waved and doing this, we just wouldn't do that. First of all, we wouldn't go against the authorities like idiots.
Yeah.
So what we're seeing here is just pawns, brainwashed, indoctrinated people.
And half those people doing that are federal agents or cops themselves. They're called agent provocateurs. And they did the same thing with Black Lives Matter, the same thing with all these other groups. And they would infiltrate the group, act like one of them, just to cause incite a riot, whatever the case. Then when they walk away, and then all of a sudden the cops come in. Yeah, I've seen tons of videos, man, and already from Mexicans, like saying, we as Mexicans would never disrespect the United States. If we're in the United States, we're going to respect your flag. We're not going to wave our flag around over yours. We'll wave them together, and the same thing, we go to, like, if I went to Mexico, man, I would learn your customs, go obey your laws, and respect your flag. And the Mexicans here, the good Mexicans, and which is most of them, that they do the same thing for us. And I got a lot of respect for. When I lived in Central Falls, Rhode Island, we had mechanics are normally crooks. They really are. I went to this place for years. Yeah. It was a Mexican-owned family place, and the family was amazing. I could bring my car, no matter what the job was. He would have it done in record time. The whole family work on the car. And it's done right and quick and cheap. It's like, wow, you can't beat that. I go to this white guy up the street. He's trying to tell me there's something wrong with my car when it's not. He charged me double the price.
Your radiator is gone, but it's actually just a loose hose clamp.
Yeah.
So just jumping subjects, just because it's in my heart to say, because it's just what it is. I'm just going to say it. We know about that, the corrupt, like not all mechanics, but it is kind of a stereotype with that corruption.
Yep.
You have a loose hose clamp, you got to replace the alternator, the water pump, etc. But you know what's even worse in the medical field? Doctors, when you go in with a cough and they're like, well, let's do a cardiogram, let's do an MRI, you got to take these medicines. And the reason it's worse is because one of them doesn't care about you and your money and your car, but the other one doesn't care about you, your money, and your health and your life. So that just came out. I just had to blurt it out. But, at this point, I'm just glad I got through. I hope I added some value to the conversation.
Yeah.
And
I'm glad you called in because, while you said that too, I wanted to ask you questions like, where does this put you? I mean, you 100, you like you said, 100. You're Mexican and American. So good people like you. And I, in Central Falls, Rhode Island, we had a huge Mexican population. We did. We were friends with everybody. You know what I mean? And you know, it's how they did this like years ago. It was pitting the whites against the blacks against the Asians. Now everybody against Mexico. You know what I mean? So they try to pit us all against each other. And we know those clowns running around doing what they're doing, they don't speak for every Mexican. Same thing with the Black Lives Matter. They don't speak for every black person or whatever case. So you get the wacky white people. They don't speak for all. So we as a society, we're all mixed society. So I went to school with Mexicans and I love them. Their food's amazing. It's one of my favorite foods is Mexican. And, the great workers and you don't get any better work. These guys you guys like work your asses off, excuse my language, and you do a great job. You know what I mean? And Everything you do, you put your heart into it. You know what I mean? I seen this guy, he's just like clipping the lawn, and he puts his heart into that. You know, you got a guy, another guy would be griping about overtime or whatever, and this guy, is just lazy. But this guy over here, he's putting his heart and soul into his work, and that's appreciated, and and it just sucks that they've got to pit everybody against each other. When I just hope one day that everybody says, all right, stop fighting against each other. The blacks against the Asians, or whites against them, or whatever, Mexicans, whatever. And it's like we're all in the same New World Order boat, you know what I mean? And one day we all come together.
Yep.
That'll be their worst, the elite's worst enemy. When we all come together, and right now in the streets going on, you know what I mean? Like it's all pitted against each other. And like I said, these Asian provocateurs purposely do this. That when you see them, I don't know if you've seen the videos. The guy standing on the car, it was a famous picture now. He's standing on a flamed, like a charred car with a Mexican flag. Then you see the guys in motorcycles riding around a car where it's burning with Mexican flags. And meanwhile, there's cops right there doing nothing because those are paid provocateurs to do that, to look for the media. So I'll give you an example, right? Back in 2010 in San Diego, they had a World Trade Organization meeting out in San Diego. So there was peaceful protesters. They were peaceful. There's regular college kids. Nobody got violent at all. They're just holding signs and all that stuff. And they had these people, and a bunch of people in black uniforms. They come storming, and they all had the same boots and everything else. They started breaking windows. Now the cops are standing right there in front of them. They were told to stand down, don't do nothing. They were burning cars, breaking windows, setting stores on fire, looting, all this other stuff, right? When and only when they left, the cops were ordered to go in and take care of business. And at the time, it was left as peaceful protesters and doing nothing, and store owners trying to clean up the glass, and they're getting bullied and punched by the cops and everything. And come to find out that these provocateurs, the hotel they were all staying in, the hotel owner, he was riveted because they destroyed the hotel. And so he revealed to the city the next day, because they had a big, massive meeting about it, the city meeting, and he said, that the police department, San Diego Police Department, paid for the hotel for those guys. You know what I mean? And it was all wrecked and all that.
Yeah.
And they do that with Black Lives Matter. They did it in Boston up here. They the police were on video. 3 cops busting up their own SUV. They pushed into the middle of the street, and you had the good people from Black Lives Matter. Don't do that. They're gonna blame us, Then you had a guy dressed as Antifa. He's like busting windows in the store, and he spray painted BLM on the wall. And you had some black lady yelling at him, "Don't do that. They're gonna blame us for that," Then they chased him, and he ended up running to a back of a police department. You know what I mean? And I caught it myself here in Rhode Island when there was all the chaos going on in Rhode Island with the Black Lives Matter thing. The leader, literally, he went around the corner while everybody's all distracted. I followed him, and he went into a police van. And him and the cops in that, whoever's in that van, they were sitting there talking for a half hour.
Yeah. Yeah. So, well, first of all, I appreciate and everything you just exposed. Yes, first of all, let me answer, because this is glory to our Holy Father, Yahuwah forever. I do say all my life I've said I'm 200%, 100% Mexican, 100% American. But since I've been saved, glory to God, I'm 100% of His kingdom, But since I'm still here, that's the way I can explain it in simple terms. So my perspective is there's a couple of things I'll throw out. It's not going to go in order, but hopefully I'm able to respond to some of the things that you raised. Let me start with this, just going off of what's in my heart. In Mexico, if we, and there's been instances where many, and it's known, Americans on spring break, for example, basically, I identify with this. I haven't done this. But I identify with being American in Mexico, like spring breaking. Yeah. But there's been some who, with drinking or whatnot, decide to disrespect the Mexican flag. There's a lot of Mexican flags, roundabouts, etc., and they just get beat down. The reason I'm saying this is because that's why Mexicans wouldn't do that here.
Yeah.
So when you see someone burning an American flag, it's not a real Mexican. It's not a. They know not to do that. They know what to expect. They wouldn't be that disrespectful. Now, since we're talking about immigration also, and when I'm talking about this, I'm just going to be quick about it, but I'm just going to raise a point that I know for a fact. In Mexico, we have a lot of we have a law in Mexico where it's free transit for immigrants. So you can transit through Mexico freely from wherever you're at. At this point, let's say South or Central America. But in order to get work, in order to do anything like that, it's very difficult. You need papers. Mm-hmm. You just can't go anywhere. The reason that people are able to survive, whether they're from Central America or from Europe or the Baltic states, is because in Mexico, it's both. Mexico is one of the very few, I think there's only 3 countries in the world that are not categorized as either first world or third world. Because in Mexico, you find first world and third world, okay? Mm-hmm. So what happens is with the first world, it's the system. With the third world, there's still the organic bartering or trade or black market. You can still survive without being part of the first world system. So you are able to have pockets of people from wherever who can make it there. Yeah. Now, as illegals. So the thing that's hypocrisy is when we as Mexicans, because this also happens, real Mexicans start kind of complaining or talking trash about some of this push down, not the recent ones, because these are kind of extreme. But because Mexico is harsher on illegals. Okay, now when we start getting into some of the recent stuff, which is it started off as going over after the hardcore criminals. Now that we can certainly identify with, but the difference is that in Mexico, going after the hardcore criminals, it gets hardcore. For example, if we talk about, I'm not going to mention country names because they don't deserve it, but there are gangs like MS-13, Train de Aragua. They start messing around in Mexico, and they have. There's instances, and many, and it's game over for them in an instant. There's no patience for that. And so to someone like me, it's like no surprise. We see something like that going on here, do it in an instant, especially when you're talking about human trafficking, drug trade, etc. Now, going back to something, like I said, I was going to be a little bit scattered. How do you get along? Like, or how do people get along? We should all. It's basically, I thought from growing up, it was over with. I didn't believe racism existed at all. It seems like it was artificially reintroduced, and it caught fire, and it's spreading. I remember it didn't matter. It didn't matter, and I think it has to do with also the making people like emotional, and the safe spheres. We've all heard it a lot. You've probably talked about it a lot. Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Yeah, words do hurt us, but I remember when we were over that. And if anyone cannot complain about racism, is Mexican. Why? Because in Mexico, we're racist. Now, not in an evil, wicked way, but it's just part of the go with the flow. I'll have you'll have someone who's a little bit lighter skinned, brown, Mexican, and then there's another one, a neighbor or a cousin or a brother, and he's a little bit darker, and we're already calling them, ¿qué onda mi negro? You know, like, so just to throw this out, because I don't want anybody, especially listeners, thinking that I'm just like a white cracker speaking. So, Mr. Bidondi, if you don't mind, I'll speak a little bit Spanish just to prove what I'm talking about. That I'm not like just making stuff up. So I'm gonna do a Thanksgiving to our Lord for you and viewers, and through praise and blessings. I'm gonna do it in Spanish, so you're gonna be able to like re-listen to it and know that it was legit. And I'm doing this so that people understand where I'm coming from. So, gracias, bendito Dios, todopoderoso, Padre Yahweh, en nombre de Yahshua y Manuel Hameshiach El Shaddai, por el señor Dan Bidondi, por todos los seguidores que tiene, por toda la familia que compartimos estas buenas noticias y revelaciones de la verdad que nos traes a través de soldados y compañeros, ovejas que tenemos y que somos en esta comunidad. So just with that was I'll say it in English. Thank you, Holy Father, Almighty Yahweh, in the name of Holy Yahshua, Emmanuel HaMashiach El Shaddai, for Mr. Dan Bidondi and all the blessings that you provide us through him and his platform. And thank you for all our fellow community, his fellow viewers who receive these revelations of truth as you utilize them to speak with us. So with that being said, I guess I could continue going on and rambling, and I could have like deep conversations, but all I want to say is, we're deep in it, and we just have to surrender to him. And just, there's no way, and most of us who are following you, and you yourself already know it, it's just, there's nothing that I can do that is better than what you could do. So I surrender completely, my holy God. I come to thee. I have all these plans, all these ambitions, all of these fears, and I give it all to you. Take complete control of everything and just use me and guide me. More than anything right now is guide us, empower us, protect us, because we are in the deep times that we know that we're in. We're not, it's beyond the point where we think it's going to happen. You know it, you're all our fellow viewers and others. We know. We've crossed that threshold. It's this controlling system, beast system that's already here, and it's only going to grow exponentially. So, blessed are we who rely on our holy Savior, mighty Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Yep. And so that's that. Thank you for taking the call.
You're welcome.
By the way, yeah.
Yep, we got another call in line too. So thank you so much, man, and great information, brother.
All right. Well, thank you. Stay blessed. Stay up. Peace, everybody. Love y'all. Please, whoever's trying to call in, forgive me for taking the space, and just call in. I'll hang up right now. Brother. Peace out. Stay up.
Yep. Call next week too if you want. That'd be awesome.
Pardon me?
If you want to call in next week too, that's cool.
Thank you. Yeah, for sure. I certainly do follow, and I'll comment, and yeah, for sure. I'll make the time, and I'll call in, and hopefully I can be used as a blessing by our Lord.
Amen.
Okay. Amen.
Right, take care, brother.
All right.
God bless.
Peace. Thank you.
It's 337. 337. You're on the air. What's your name?
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Is Dan there? Is
Yep.
Dan there?
Yeah, you're on. Yeah, this is Dan.
Okay.
So, could you do me a favor? Shut the volume off in the background.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's just like the back feed. That's all. Yeah. So, what's your name?
My name is Amaris Norel Benoit.
Oh. Ann, you said?
I'm from Two Lamps.
Oh. How's it going, sister?
I'm all right. I think you have a very nice show there.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, everybody was giving me some encouragement to call in. I was like, I don't know, maybe next time.
Oh, no, yeah. Once you
Yeah.
call in, it's like, it's cool. You know what I mean? Like, you get the ice broken, you know?
Oh, yes, I'm very shy. I heard y'all talking about, the war
Yeah.
going on in Israel. I really think we should stay out of that.
Yeah. And you know what they'll do?
It's
Like
just-
the war propaganda. They'll tell everybody that we're supposed to support Israel no matter what. And when the Bible doesn't say that, you know what I mean? And it talks about the Israel of God is us, the believers, you know what I mean? Not the nation Israel.
Yeah, they try to use the fact that they're part of the Israel of God when really they're not.
Yeah, the Zionists. And
It's the spiritual Israel that's part of it, Yahuwah.
Yep. Amen. So
Well,
yeah.
I guess
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I like also the fact that y'all believe in biblical cosmology, and
Yes.
about the Earth being flat.
Mm-hmm.
I really, when you look at the Bible and you really study, really hard,
Mm-hmm.
you end up realizing the Earth is flat. Like you'll see the Bible verses in there, and it talks about like there's walls around the Earth,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just really sad that we have big organizations over us and stuff, and they lie to us, and
Mm-hmm.
especially I think they call them like the space
Oh,
is
NASA?
it, yeah, NASA.
Yeah,
But-
NASA means deceiver in Hebrew. So go figure.
Oh
huh?
wow.
And if you look
Yeah.
at their logo, right, shows a space with these two red lions in it. If you look at those red lions, it looks just like a serpent's tongue, a split tongue.
Oh yeah, wow.
So they don't hide it.
Yeah.
It's right there. And half the so-called astronauts are all Freemasons and everything. And
Oh yeah. It's all over. Oh man.
yep, they pull illusion over our face, and to try to hide the creator. That's their job, is to try to hide God.
Oh yes, it's MK Ultra on steroids.
Yep. It's unreal.
Well, I guess I'll let someone else get on.
Well, thank you for the call and everything, and thank you for your support and all that good stuff.
Oh yes. Have a good night.
You too, and please feel free to call in next time too.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. God bless you.
You too.
Yep. Bye. So yeah, I was talking about the wars and all that. It's like, and it's sad that we all get snowed. I remember going to churches. Oh, we gotta support Israel. Oh, we gotta back them up. We gotta, those are God's people. We gotta support them. And I'm, at the time I didn't know anybody. Now it's like, what do you mean? We're God's people. Doesn't matter if you're a Jew by blood or whatever the case. You know what I mean? Like, we're God's Israel. If you whoever believes in Jesus is God's Israel. Plain and simple. So, us, like, we're Gentiles, we're grafted in. So, it's amazing. I did a broadcast on that, grafted in, one of my biblical warfares, and about being grafted in. And I seen how farmers do it. I was watching these videos how they actually graft another branch into a tree. It's amazing. So 850, you're on the air. What's your name?
Yeah, this is Levite.
Hey, what's up? What's up, Leroy?
And I'm not. Yeah, we haven't talked in over a couple of years. I apologize for not making the show here, but fairly recently tonight. So I may have missed a few things.
That's all right.
Yeah, you've been talking about the wars that are going on with what? Russia, Ukraine, Israel, Iran, Hamas. Okay. Well, I'm Jewish. I'm Messianic.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm having a real. Well, I got to be careful how I say this because I don't want to do a Matthew 7:6. Not to you, but I mean it could be applicable to others.
Yeah.
How do you suggest that we deal with things like this? Like, we're back to homesteading again, Deborah Hebrew Faith and I. And things go really awry. I mean, what do you think it's going... What's your actual, not prophecies, but predictions? I mean, do you have any ideas of what's going to happen in the near future and how people should deal with this?
Oh, with the
because
wars?
People aren't very... Because even us Sabbath keepers aren't overly unified.
So I like there's a lot of construed information out there in the world, but I just tell people just read the Word of God and try your best to follow it, and you can't go wrong. Instead of going to religions or churches or anything like that, just call upon Holy Spirit for wisdom and understanding. Read the Word of God, and just try your best to follow that Word of God.
Well, yeah, that's
and trust
good advice.
it. Actually, mainly trust it and have faith. Because if Jesus taught anything, is to have faith.
Okay, well, I'm just wondering too, because of the the authorities, like even like some of the days that are coming.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we're 15 miles away from the closest town, but they know we're the elites know we're out here, and I don't know how I should deal with it because I just kind of figure my day in court would be right here.
Yeah.
Right here and at that time, if you catch my drift.
Yeah.
I mean, so I don't know. Maybe I'm asking questions that would take a lot more time to, basically take a lot more time to really analyze and to be able to give at least a few concrete answers. I might be, this might be unfair to you, I guess, but.
Oh no, go for it. If you want to ask any questions, that's fine. But yeah, it's like. Well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Do it.
No, I was gonna say go for it. Whatever you want to speak.
No, I try to be careful in what I speak now. Yeah. I don't YouTube anymore. I tried it again. I just didn't have the zeal and the passion.
Yeah.
I don't feel it's like calling at this current time. Plus, on a practical level with this jetpack, with the limited data, it gets pretty tough. So, but I figured, kind of stay inconspicuous, I guess, might help a little bit too.
Oh.
I mean, if we could find more people where we're unified and working together as a community, I think it'd be an immense help right there.
Yeah. I think that's important now, too, especially these days, is to bring people together and come up with plans and contingency plans and everything else, too, because we know the ham is coming down. The New World Order, the ham is coming down soon. And so we know that Satan gets his little time to reign over this world. And he knows his time is short. So people like us, we're going to be hunted down and everything else and persecuted. So we need to be ready for the storm to come. But he better be ready because a bigger storm's coming to crush his head.
Yeah. Oh, you're probably referring back to Genesis 3:15, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I just wonder because I've had Christians tell me, Sunday keepers, of course, well, you're living by the sword, you die by the sword. And I'm like, well, no, they're living by the sword. All I'm doing is rightly defense.
Yeah.
And I may lose in this lifetime, and that's fine. But I don't really think I'd be living by the sword that way at all. I just, I don't know.
Yeah. No, you have a right to defend. I mean, I got that before. I did a show is something the matter of as a Christian have a right to defend themselves, like because I belong to the Second Amendment. I'm a pro Second Amendment advocate and everything else, and it's like, oh yeah, I had one pastor out there, false pastor of course, saying, it's it's unbiblical to have guns. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's like, it's so we can't defend ourselves. It's like, in that case, why would God instruct David to go slay Goliath? And I told him, what's the difference between a bullet? What is a bullet? It's lead, right? It's minerals from the earth. What's the difference between a bullet and that stone that struck Goliath in the head? It was a projectile, which was a sling. We have a gun. I mean, some of these slings that are almost powerful is like a 9mm. You know what I mean? If you do it right. It's like, it's no difference. A gun and a sling do the same thing. They launch a projectile, a mineral from the earth, to kill the target. So there's no difference at all from a sling from a gun or a sword. You know what I mean? Because they're designed to defend yourself and kill. And God instructed our people, Joshua and everything else, to defend ourselves and go after these Nephilim kingdoms and everything else against these evil things. So in today's world, we're not wheeling swords around. Now we're wheeling guns around. You know what I mean? There's no difference. And these modern day churches, they're just a joke. They really are. It's because of the dispensationalism and just like they've been hijacked and dumbed down, and especially here in the United States, that these Christian churches today, they don't know their rear ends from their elbows, and they don't know anything about spiritual warfare, and they dare to tell people, oh, the Ten Commandments don't matter no more. It's funny when they say that. It's like, all right, so is it? Yeah, can I have other gods now? Can I steal from you? Can I go have sex with your wife? Can I steal your car? Can I covet your house? Oh, of course not. Well, tell me again that the Ten Commandments don't matter no more. And they look so dumb after that.
Well, yeah, no, I can relate to that. I used to be on another chat site called Pal Talk. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. And I used to get bounced out. Okay. I used to get bounced out of rooms, the Greasy Gracie rooms, and because they'd say everything, was done away with at the cross. And I'm like, okay, well, and I'd be pretty blunt with them about having their wife, and maybe they could watch and record and learn something. Well, now I'm not recommending people to get as blatant as I was. I was kind of going through a Pal Talk and a YouTube growing up period, but it got frustrating to listen to how they pick and choose with the commandments. And the fourth one just seems to be, thanks to Constantine, really seems to be kind of obsolete to them, even though historically Colossians 2:16, it's not an argument you really want to go to. It doesn't make any sense. So, but yeah, you're right about the slingshots. I mean, I watched experts today with them, and that'll kill somebody hitting them right in the head, and probably in the heart, depending on the rock area. And I know from the history, with King David, etc., those were deadly. They had to be just as good and better than what the experts are today, I'm guessing. So, I mean, a gun, a tool, whatever you want to call it, it really doesn't matter. So, I just thought I'd kind of ask your thoughts about that. Because I was finally able to get on the live stream there. So, anyway, but I appreciate you taking my call, man.
Absolutely. There's another one always made me laugh. These same churches, right? You got to laugh at this, really do. They say, the laws and commandments were all abolished. The whole Old Testament, the covenant, all done away with, right? But yet they will put envelopes out with Malachi 3:10 on it to say, you got to give us 10, because the Bible says you got to give us 10% of your tithes, when it had nothing to do with money in the first place. But they say it did, right? So I'm like, hold on, you said all that was abolished, but except for that one, because it's still doing money.
Well, I know. I've listened to that. They pick and choose things from the Tanakh.
Yeah.
And that is Malachi or Malachi 3:6. And there's more. I don't know. I don't have the means to do it. Yeah, I have some livestock, but I can't just, evidently God made, or Elohim made provision somehow, like King Solomon. They did the sacrifices beyond number. Mm-hmm. Now, I know I'm not sacrificing today for that. I understand that, but I think about the numbers.
Yep.
And I know big cattle ranchers that could never do that and sustain themselves right now. And What I've also seen about those people in the Brit Hadashah or New Testament, they also pick and choose a lot of that too. What's convenient.
Mm-hmm.
They're not just doing it with the Tanakh alone.
Yeah.
Not that so they're pretty, well, spiritually, I don't know if I want to say schizophrenic, but well, maybe I should. Maybe it's not all their faults either. I suppose if you've been MK Ultra'd for how many decades, to think a certain way and read. Look, put it this way. I put a comment months ago under Sean Griffin's channel because this person was saying how the Torah the law wasn't perfect, and this got my attention. And I'm like, yes, it was.
Yeah.
And then he also mentioned Hebrews 12:7. I'm like, well, a more correct understanding of that really isn't the change of the law; it's a transfer. When you talk to the linguistic experts, biblical linguistic experts. And he said, well, no, it wasn't perfect. And I went back and I don't know if he ever commented back to me again or not, but I said, yes, it was. And Psalm chapter 19, verse 7 validates my claim. I'm not going to make a claim without being able to substantiate this. It was perfect, it was complete, it was whole, and it still is. So, I just, those people, they're entertaining, I guess. Until my patience starts to wear a little thin with them.
Yeah.
And I try not to be, we're supposed to judge matters. I get that, in a right, according to John 7:24 and more. But I try not to judge from a slanted point myself. And I try to be patient with these people because, thank God that I was raised in my adopted home as a Lutheran. Otherwise, I might be one of those Jews who were really blinded.
Yeah.
Because when I finally went back to my, my heritage, I already had this in hand, and I was able to see what corrections needed to be made. Not that I don't need to make any now. It's, an ongoing deal until I'm no longer flesh and blood. But you get my point.
Yeah. No, it's just funny when they do stuff like that, and like hypocrites, it's nuts. And like I tell people, there's nothing wrong with it because even Paul was like to help the ministries out. He was collecting money, but he didn't say you have to. He didn't say you had to give 10%. And because I'd be a hypocrite myself, because we have a donation page here that people help our ministry, and without the help, this wouldn't even survive. Without God mainly, But when we explain to people, you're not required to give 10%, and at that point it had nothing to do with money because the temple priests, they weren't allowed to work. They had to be at the temples. So people would come, give them some, food, help with some of the chores in the place, like any church should be. If you have a church or like a real physical church, I think the members should be part of that. And, the church is us, the body of people, not a building. But if you do have a place you go to, I think everybody should take part of that. It's like, all right, hey, the wall needs paint. Hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, they own a painting business. All right, I'll send some of my guys in there, won't charge you. We'll paint the place up, Or if this one does floors, all right, we'll get together, use some of the funds to get the tile, and I'll do the floor for free, And so that like coming together as a community, that's what that's about. But and there's nothing wrong with that. And if you got a church that does that, that's great. And some churches, even though I don't agree with the Sunday stuff and all that, and these fake holidays, but some churches, they have good communities like that where they'll put a food bank together. Just say the Joneses, right? They don't have too much money, so out of the donations, they'll hand them, secretly hand them a check or some cash and some food to, help sustain the family. One church I went to, this little rich lady, I guess she had a car, extra car. She literally donated her car was a year old. That's it. And donate it to the family that was needy. That's great stuff to do. That's what we're supposed to do together. So that, in any community standard like that, we all need to come together as a community. And if you help somebody, help them. And we try to help people on this show too. And it's been a while, but times have been tough right now. But when we get abundance of stuff like with donations, we'll give back. We'll somebody in need. food, well, water, whatever the case is. I mean, we'll try to help them as the best as we can. But you know, I mean, that's what we all need to come together to do. You know, and without you guys' help out there, this show wouldn't be, wouldn't be possible. You know, so it's like it all works together. You know, so and always also mainly is to be there. If you can't help with money or anything with somebody, be there spiritually for them, be there emotionally for them. You know, and there's something we can give. All of us could give. You know, it might not be money with this person, might not be physical help with that person, but you know, there's nothing better than picking up a phone call. You know, say, hey, listen, hey, how you doing? Just want to let you know you're not alone, and comfort people. You know, and so pray for them is the best thing. So there's many ways we could do that, but other than that, though, yeah.
It's funny you bring that up because the Levites were to be totally supported by the other 11 tribes, or in the Torah anyway. And again, how would you convert? I mean, we can't do everything according to the Torah right now.
Yeah.
We just only do what we're allowed to do. So that's where you need to probably pray and let the Ruach guide you about how you should spend or how you should mete out that money. Or material, like you said, that lady giving a car. Okay. That wasn't direct cash, but obviously is financial.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, these people are supposed to be, in some ways, probably supported by the whole ecclesia, I guess, or, the community that they're supposed to be in agreement with, that they're, that they're spiritually on the same. I'm lacking the word. I'm brain freezing, Dan. But you know what I'm saying. So it's funny that how a lot of those, even some of us, the Sabbath keeping, Shabbat, or whatever you want to call it, congregations, how they aren't really doing it the way they probably should be. So anyway. I suppose you need to take another call. We've been on here quite a while, so.
All right. Well, thank you for the call, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you taking it. All right. You take care and be blessed and enjoy your Shabbat.
You too. God bless you, man. Shabbat shalom.
All right. Ditto.
So some good phone calls tonight, and so pretty cool, So yeah, it's like we could talk about the wars all together, and I think. My thing is, like, if you're out there supporting Israel, whatever, you have a right for free speech. You have the right to protest all you want. But when you start throwing rocks, when you start getting physical, you don't have a right to do that. You know what I mean? And there's good people supporting Israel for good reasons, and there's good people supporting Gaza for good reasons. You know what I mean? And because the thing is, both countries are run by evil. Let's just put it that way. Both countries kill their own people. Both countries kill innocent kids. Both countries stage things, just like our country. Same thing, no difference. So, should we be supporting Israel or Gaza? I don't think you should support anyone. That's my personal thing. But if you do support them and you want to get violent, I think you should be kicked. I don't care if you live here. Be kicked out of this country, shipped to Israel or Gaza, whatever you're supporting, and go cause violence there. I mean, my thing is the patriots of this country, man. If this stuff happened 100 years ago, 150 years ago, you know what would happen to these people? Be like, hold up 1 minute. You got to come in my town and destroy it because you don't agree with the government's doing or whatever? Yeah. They'd be stopped real quick and fast. Patriots in this country would just, kick them right off the streets. Like physically, you know what I mean? And if the cops got in the way, they kick them off too, And it's crazy because some of these states that the cops will defend these people. So you got somebody that defends themselves and they get in trouble for it. It's crazy. But yeah, if you like the whole thing with Ukraine and Russia, it was I mean, my heart went out to Russia, really did, because people didn't even see it, the Russia phobia that took place in this country the last 2 years. People from Russia were not allowed to run in the Boston Marathon. That had nothing to do with what's going on. And the World Cat, we went over all the news. The World Cat Federation. They have cats that compete, whatever. I don't know what they do, but any cats from Russia were banned, right? There was a complete Russia phobia going on all over the world. You know what I mean? And World International Chess Association. The chess players. One of the champions, I guess, he was a Russian, and they asked him, "What do you think about the war?" He goes, I'm not a politician. I don't know. I play chess. I don't care what goes on with whatever, you know what I mean? And they told me, you better pick a side. And, of course, he's going to pick his country. And then he banned him from the World Chess Organization. You know what I mean? And I tell people, you have to take a side. You have to take, Russia or Ukraine, you know what I mean? And Ukraine, like, it is a corrupt country. And people quickly forget that, too. Ukraine was the most corrupt country listed for 20-something years, and all over Europe. The most corrupt country in Europe. And, Putin ain't at all perfect, you know what I mean? But I hate to say it, guys, but if you look at what's going on in Russia, right, they got more biblical values than our country. More biblical values than our presidents. Putin with the LGBT, he says, I don't give a damn what people think. You're not putting that crap in my country. You're not going to pollute the minds of my children. We have, in the Russia supports big time, the nuclear family. That's big time. Let me see if I get that flag up, because remember the Olympics were in Russia? I'm going to say Russian traditional family flag. So the LGBT wanted to do something in the ceremonies, whatever, and Putin said, hell no, hell no. Not no, hell no, he said, right? So he said, I don't want to pollute the minds of my children. So Putin had this flag design, right? It's a flag of the nuclear family. It's a straight pride flag. Oh, boy, the LGBT got ripped. It is a good thing in Russia, too, right? You don't have this stuff over there at all. You don't have LGBT parades over there. You don't have radical Islam going through that country. Doing taking up the middle of the street, doing the prayers and all that. That not even flies in Russia. Russian citizens themselves, they go kick the snot out of these people. That's how it is in Russia, man. And that police don't take crap from nobody, man. You don't stop, especially drug dealers, there's no police brutality laws over there. You know what I mean? They respect people, but man, And I had a good friend from Russia, right? He told me, if you're dating a girl, right, or married to a girl, and your wife is cheating on you, now you end up finding, she's in the club over there dancing with this guy, right? You can walk into the club right in front of a cop or a bouncer. Hey, that's my wife right there. They back right off. Yeah, you go up to the door and say, hey, listen, my wife's over there. She's cheating on me with that SOB, right? So the cop or whatever, they'll turn on blind eye. You go over there, knock him out and knock her out. Drag her out, and cops look the other way. There's no restraining orders over there where people abuse them. Yeah, because facing this country, the restraining order they give out restraining orders like water. I see all the time how it's unfortunately mostly women do this. And yes, there's a lot of jerk guys out there too, but they'll go to say because they don't want to court. Like I dealt with it myself, my ex-wife, because she cheated on me. She got caught. Then all of a sudden she goes to the court to get a restraining order. For no reason, they just hand it to her. I had to fight tooth and nail to get it dropped. And so it gives them a free pass to cheat. Then all she has to do is pick up the phone. Oh, hello, police? Yeah, he called me. He violated the restraining order. And all of a sudden the cops go pick up that person. I seen a grown man in court crying. Because the girl's in the court, it's her husband on the stand, in the court with an arm around her new boyfriend. Them hunked up in his house that he built, pays for, and he couldn't do nothing about it. And she lied to say he called her, and they put him away for a year. You know what I mean? That's not justice at all, and that doesn't fly in Russia or any other country. You know, they say man is the king of the castle. That's it. You know, he's the authority of the family. You know what I mean? And that's how it is in Russia. And people call it the communist country. Yeah, they do got some bad laws, absolutely. But if you look at who's the real communists, I mean, they have very moral values for children. I sound like a salesman for Russia now. Yeah, come on, buy a ticket to Russia. And it's funny too, because Putin last year, he told everybody, because they have a strict immigration policy, and he told everybody, if you want to move away from the New World Order, you come here, I'll suspend that immigration thing. Because over there, you got to go learn the language. Like here, this country used to be. You had to learn the language, the laws of the land, the Constitution, all that stuff, and some American history. And now it's like you come over here and they give you a green card. And half the people you go into a store, it's sickening. It's like, oh, can I get this? I don't know habla. Maybe no habla. It's like, how do you do that? How do you get a job here when you can't speak English? I would never in my life go to Russia and say, or Mexico or anywhere else without learning that language and customs and think I'm entitled for them to learn my language. You know, it's sickening. You got to pick up the phone, press 1 for English, 2 for Spanish, 3 for this. No, how about you speak English and that's it? Or if I'm in Mexico, how about you speak Spanish or whatever that's the way it should be. You respect their nationality, all this stuff. You stand for their national anthem. If you go to move to Russia, I'm standing for the Russian national anthem. If I move to Mexico, I'm standing for their national anthem. You know what I mean? And people just lose that, and they think they're entitled. That stuff doesn't fly in other countries, and people call us, racist or bigots or whatever. We let more stuff get away with in this country than all these other countries, and people call them racist and big, all that, right? But yeah, we're allowing all this sexual perversion and disgustness, godlessness. But these countries, go fly that. Go ahead. Go fly that rainbow flag in Russia and see what happens here. Go in the middle of the streets and say, hey, I hate this country. Go burn a Russian flag on Russian soil and see what happens here. You don't have to worry about the police because the guys over there, the men, they're not cowards like they are here today. Go ahead, go play that knockout game in Russia, see what happens here. Seriously. Go beat up a little old lady and instead of the men taking videos and hiding behind the corner, they're going to come over to you and bust you in the teeth. Those are real men over there. You know what I mean? And it's crazy that, and we get told, growing up, this is the Russians are the bad guys and everything else. You see that in movies and sports and everything else, and they're not. You know what I mean? They have more moral values in Russia than we have in the United States, by far. More values than us in Israel put together. But we claim to be countries of God. Yeah. But realistically, they're more godly than we are, by far. Yeah, it's crazy. And the Ukraine are a bunch of corrupt people. They really are. And they have little Nazi troops as soldiers. They got the Nazi swat sticker patches on them. It's crazy. And they firebomb their own. They'll blow up an old hospital that's been closed down. Then the media will run wild. Oh, look, Russia bombed the hospital, killing innocent people. No, it was either shut down hospital, or Ukraine would do it to their own people. It's called false flags, It's crazy, man. And and they get this massive Russia phobia, banning people because the Boston Marathon. You got people from all over the world that come there every year, and to run in the marathon to represent their country, and just because you're from Russia, you're banned. That's discrimination. Yeah, I mean Ukraine. Yeah, the leaderships are bad. I would never ban a Ukrainian. You kidding me? The person has nothing to do with that. Yeah, I don't care if we went to war with just say Mexico. Yeah. Is Mexican people bad because of the government? No. Are we bad because we have some screwed up presidents? A retard George Bush and a retard Biden? Are we that way? No. So it's like you can't take it out on the people. It's like the leaders all over this country too. Every leader of all these countries don't represent necessarily the people. You know what I mean? And it's the people are good people, and so we need to support each other because we're all God's children, and it doesn't matter if you're Russian, wherever you live, Mexico, Spain, whatever, if you believe in Jesus, we all belong to God's kingdom because Jesus says, "Be in the world, not of the world," and we in our world, where we belong is not of this world. So it doesn't really matter what country you live in. We're all brothers and sisters in the Lord. You know what I mean? That part of God's Israel. So I don't know why people just do that. Really don't. Then they stage these false flags and all that stuff. And now, if you don't know what a false flag is, it's old terms. It's a military term. So basically, I'll give you an example. During Vietnam, right, when the conflict was going on in North and South Vietnam, the United States wanted into this because it's big money for the military-industrial complex. The American public says no. Even what's his name, JFK. No, that was Cuba. I'll get to that in a minute. But at the time of Vietnam, this is long before JFK. So they wanted to get into the war, and the public said no. We don't need it. It's none of our business. Let them deal with their own crap. It's nothing to do with us. They don't pose no threats to us. That's none of our business. We're not going to risk lives and our taxpayer money to get involved with something that's nothing to do with us. I mean, they're right. It's unconstitutional. So what they did was they took a they took a U.S. Navy ship. They painted it with, to make it look like a North Vietnamese ship. They even put a North Vietnamese flag on the ship. And guess what they did? This is the Navy, the highest levels of the Navy, right? The military industrial complex. So what they did was they took that ship and sunk one of our Navy ships. Now, the people on that Navy ship had no clue. They got firebombed by that ship, and they killed over 100 of our sailors. Our people did that to our own people. And right away, the next day, they said, well, North Vietnamese attacked us, and they killed over 100 of our sailors. And next day, everybody wants blood. Boom, there's the full support to go to war. With the whole Cuban Missile Crisis, this is sick. I almost swore, sorry. Sick stuff, okay? It was Operation Northwoods, right? And so when JFK was in office and his Joint Chiefs of Staff, his first ones, they proposed an idea because Cuba and Russia were good allies. So Cuba was building bases here, and Russia wanted to build bases over in Cuba. Nothing to do with us at all. And so the Joint Chiefs of Staff come in the military industrial complex come up with an idea. You got to read the document. Let me see if I can get that up. You have to literally read this to really. I'll tell you what happened with this too. It's unclassified now. Operation Northwoods. Justification for U.S. military intervention in Cuba. That's what it was about. So the actual document, let me see. That's the document right there. And let me see if I could see if any words come up. Yeah, it talks about flying plane. Literally, it's in the document, right? And this is going to sound very familiar. Talks about, back then, right? Talks about hijacking a plane, right? Landing a plane with the passengers on it into a secret facility. And at the same time, right, just say here's an airliner, right? And it's going to sound familiar what happened in 2001. So in the document, it talks about all details about it. So basically, you got a drone plane that's painted. It looks exactly like this airliner. Just say American Airlines Flight 33, right? This is American Airlines Flight 33. Same transponder code. So basically, the plane with the passengers would be hijacked. They would land at a secret installation, and that just as they're landing, this one's taken off. So when it gets viewed on ATC, air traffic control, they never see it go away. They see the constant bleep, bleep, bleep. So in reality, this plane's landing with the passengers, and this drone's taking off. It's a plane that looks just like that one, same number and everything, and the same transponder codes. So the people on that plane, you never see them again because they execute them on the base. Then they take that remote control plane, fly it into a tall building, and blame it on the political enemy. And that was in the Operation Northwoods. That's why you hear that when it's associated with 9/11. And what they want to do, there's many things in this document discussed. They wanted to firebomb some of our military bases in American soil here, kill some of our soldiers to blame Cuba for it. And JFK, well, man, he flipped the heck out. He flipped his lid. He goes, you kidding me? You got to kill our own people to do this? He literally fired his Joint Chiefs of Staff. Gone. And just a preposterous idea of proposing such a stupid thing like this. And he didn't have this, at all. I forgot exactly what he said about it. Let me see what the JFK thing, JFK Operation Northwoods. There's all kinds of stuff on that. Operation Northwoods in 1962. It was a proposed plan by the Joint Chiefs of Staff to justify an invasion of Cuba by staging false flag terror attacks on U.S. soil. So basically, you stage an attack, it's fake or real, doesn't matter. And if there's real incidents, real casualties, that highlights it even more. So what you do is you attack something and make it look like your political enemy attacked it. Nero did that in Rome. And he went to war with Christians. Emperor Nero in 1932 by his Parliament building, Hitler's Parliament building. So what they did is they went to war with Poland. And so people in Germany, we don't Poland ain't a threat to us. Get out of here. So they attacked the Parliament building, killing tons of people in that Parliament building, and said there was Polish people. And then all of a sudden, next thing, the whole country went to war with Poland. You know what I mean? And this has been going on forever. Operation Gladio, we could go down. 9/11 is a big false flag. But yeah, just justify an invasion of Cuba, false flag terror attacks on U.S. soil. The attack would then be blamed on Cuba, creating a public and international outrage that would provide pretext for military intervention. And if you go on, JFK, he rejected and reportedly caused tension with military leadership, who felt Kennedy was too soft on Cuba. The outline plan he had, now it's amazing how they just admit this now, because it's been disclosed. The document outlining the plan was declassified in 1997 to the JFK Assassination Records Review Board, and its public profile increased significantly in 2001. Say, in 2001, because it's the plans for 9/11. The whole thing that happened 9/11 was a script right out of Operation Northwoods. In detail. You got to go read it for yourself. And I'll put it in the chat room, or you could type it in, whatever. And there it is right there. So let me put that in the chat room. You can go check it out later. But that's what they did. And you would think, why would our government kill their own people? Well, you don't know the government. They have no problem killing their own people. It was Henry Kissinger. I think he was, what was he? He was one of the presidents something. Let me see. He was distinct German accent. He was a political scientist and former United States Secretary of State. So he was a former Secretary of State in 1923, I think, under FDR, right? Yeah. I believe so, right? He was regardless, Henry Kissinger. He was, again, Secretary of State, and he quoted, let me see if I get the quote, Henry Kissinger. So this is Henry Kissinger, right? He served as assistant to the President for National Security Affairs from January 20th, 1969 till November 3rd, 1975. However, Robert Pelton's new book, Unwanted Dead or Alive, Kissinger quoted making a statement. He said, military men are dumb, stupid animals to be used as pawns for foreign policy. That's what they think of your military. You go and serve the military, you think you're doing a noble thing, which you are generally, But when you go to fight in Iraq, you're not doing a great thing. You're not, when you go to Bosnia or Iraq or anything like that, that's not a great thing because they had nothing to do with us at all. And that's what the military is for. But unfortunately, they were used as military pawns. That's it. That's all we're used for. The people, that served in the military. It's sickening, you know what I mean? And the military is supposed to protect this country. Going, over to Bosnia has nothing to do with protecting this country. Iraq, Iran, none of these guys pose any threats to the United States of America. It's sickening. These poor guys, they go to fight for war and then they come back poisoned or whatever the case. And it's sickening. Then they get denied disability. They sleep on the park bench. Meanwhile, somebody illegal comes over here and they give them food stamps, Obama phones, and everything else they need. Crazy, man. And I go on forever with these false flag operations, but Operation Northwoods was a script for 9/11. The details are right in that document there, like exactly how to do that. Again, you got my pen here. You hijack the plane in there, right? So you hijack the plane, and then you fly. You change course, and of course you fly toward that military installation. That's not even on half the maps. And then, so this plane takes off. So as this is taking off, this is a hijacked plane with the people. They start landing it simultaneously. So according to when you see it on the air traffic control, all they see is that a transponder code sends a signal out. So any air traffic control in the area can see that little blimp, and it has an identification number to it. and it gives out the unique frequency of the transponder to tell you who you are. You know what I mean? Because then I'm a pilot, so when you fly, right, you get a squawk code and everything else. It's called a squawk code and all that, and then you get this transponder code that identifies who you are. So I'll just say 1397. They would have the information because you already died. That's a Cessna 172. It's en route from PVD Providence to I don't know, Hartford, Connecticut, or something like that, right? And so they would have the information, all the information on that transponder code, and so that they would do that to make it look like the plane's still in flight. And meanwhile, whatever they did to these people on these planes, 9/11, these several planes that were landed, and nobody knows what happened to these people. And no people crash into no towers. I'm telling you right now, there's no people that crash into towers. Yes, real planes got hijacked with real people on it, but they landed on government installations and they were never seen again. They executed these people. And so you even got people on the phones, and there's phone calls. Oh, really? So there's cell phone calls of people calling their families. Really? So how does that work out, especially back then? From that high up in the air, you can't call people. Even with the technology today, my iPhone 16, I can't be like more than 10,000 feet in the air and talk to somebody. It's all scams, you know what I mean? And there's a script radar operation northward. There's all these false flags, and people fall for it. They want blood the next day, you know what I mean? And so many of these operations, the Gulf of Tonkin, the same thing. They false flags. They paint a ship to look like an enemy ship, do destruction, kill people, and the next thing people want blood. And we've been wanting to go to war in the Middle East for a long time. And why do you think the Iran thing is going on, guys? Iran was there's 4 countries in the world who are not under Rothschild control. Just 4. Iran happens to be one of them. And it seems like the countries we're targeting, those are the 4 countries that are not under Rothschild control. They're not good countries. They're the leaders, but still, And they've been going after Iran for a long time. Because what else is Iran? Iran's part of Babylon. Iraq's part of Babylon. So you get the picture of what's going on? And why do you think the group ISIS? Here's another one, too. The group ISIS was Al-Qaeda. Who formed Al-Qaeda was the CIA. They're informed because during the 80s, I think they called it the 10-year war, was Pakistan and Russia. They were at war, had nothing to do with anybody else. So the United States inserted a leader in there to create Al-Qaeda. His name was Timothy Osman. The world knows him as Bin Laden. They inserted him into there, gave him all the weapons and money he needed to form Al-Qaeda. And Al-Qaeda is the CIA, the CIA creation. Where do you think they got all the brand new vehicles and everything else to them? So when the boogeyman, Al-Qaeda and all that, Bin Laden, when that started getting exposed, what did they do? All they did is shift names from Al-Qaeda to ISIS. And why do you think it's called ISIS for? ISIS. Who's Isis? She was the queen of Babylon, which is Semiramis. So, hang on, let me take this call. It's up, 850. How you doing?
Is the show still on?
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry. I probably should let you go.
Oh.
I was going to ask you about something personally.
All right. Yeah, if you want to call back and leave a message, and call back right away, and I'll deny it and just leave a message.
Okay, sorry about that, Dan.
It's all right. No problem, brother.
Yeah.
So, and that's how it is, these operations. And it's funny when Obama come out, oh, we got national news, and it's going to affect the world. We caught Bin Laden, and half the world laughed at him. You didn't catch him. I got, oh man, did I get heated from Homeland Security. Woo! Yeah, they didn't like it at all. So I remember I was on, I think it was AM station, whatever it was. And I had a friend who, he called himself InfoWars Pakistan. He literally lived a block and a half away from the Bin Laden's family's complex. So he called me, and I heard all kinds of crazy stuff going on. He goes, there's U.S. helicopters here. They're in Bin Laden's family's home. He called me, right? And so he's telling me, I heard this stuff going on in the background. It was crazy. And he goes, I don't understand why they're here. And it's like, well, Bin Laden, isn't Bin Laden dead? He goes, yeah, they didn't get Bin Laden. And Bin Laden, like the whole world knew. Prime Minister Bhutto, she was on, I think it was, I don't know, whatever show, and they were talking about dictators, and she nonchalantly talked about Bin Laden dying from food poisoning back in December of 2001. And the whole world knew that. So when Obama come out to say, oh, we got Bin Laden, half the world laughed at them. And yet, because he had news at the complex, in interviewing people were like, what? You didn't get Bin Laden. This is his family. He's been dead for years now. You didn't get no Bin Laden. So when the media challenged them on that, of course, there's no evidence. All the cameras on the helmets of the Navy SEALs happened to not be working that day. Yeah, just coincidence, right? Then I interviewed the parents, 3 parents from these Navy SEALs. And every one of these Navy SEALs, every single one of them were part of the operation, all ended up dead. Every one of them. Mysteriously, huh? And I remember, because after the mission was over, this is the parents I talked to, and they told me the same thing. Because my sons were always optimistic, they were always positive. And at one time, there was 2 of them went on this mission, from an uncrashable helicopter, and they called me as if that was their last call. She said you could feel something wrong. They got on the helicopter, and at the last minute, they switched the passenger on the manifest, and then the guy had a bomb on him. They blew up the helicopter with those Navy SEALs in it. Then all the Navy SEALs were killed off here and there. They killed them all. They assassinated them because the media was coming down on them, the world media. You didn't kill no damn Bin Laden. He's been dead. Who'd where's the evidence? And, of course, they covered it up, and they switched it quick, And that got dropped real quick. You know what I mean? And that's just a scam of this world, and Bush is right in it. That's why you say the Republicans and Democrats are in the same bed with each other. And, the retard son, George Bush, I call him, and I'm not going to apologize for saying that. And his other buddy there, Biden, they're all in the same bed with each other. And you had Clinton and, Bill Clinton and George Bush were saying we're brothers from another mother. Like they vacation together. They go to these Bohemian Groves together, which is coming up in July. We got the Bohemian Club coming up, and we're going to be doing something on that too. So basically, these are the leaders of the world. People from the Vatican, they got their own encampment in there. The Bushes, when the old man was alive, they had it's called the Hillbilly Camp, right? Their own little section they own, and they fly in gay prostitutes from other countries to have their way with these people, and the disgusting things that go on. It was Richard Nixon. I'll get that quote up real quick because Richard Nixon's been there, and there's a lot of people who've been there. You got the same thing with Jeffrey Epstein's Island. You got to understand this, how this works, right? If you got invited to a club, right, and just say, all right, I didn't know any better, right? Somebody says, hey, I became friends with Jeffrey Epstein, right, or his son, whoever, right, and say, oh, you want to come check out a private island? We got our own private island. We'll fly you over there on a jet. I'll be like, yeah, heck yeah, that sounds fun. You know what I mean? Anybody would be willing to go to that. Not knowing what you're going to. So if you see people on the list of the Bohemian Grove or Jeffrey Epstein's Island, if they once, okay, but when you see them multiple times, then they're pedophiles, But Richard Nixon, right, he quotes Bohemian Grove, right? So that's not it. It was about the... Yeah, it was one said. Oh, hang on a second. Yeah, it was. I can't find it. Of course, I probably gotta bury it, right? All right, this is his quote. I'm not gonna say it all because I don't like to use the Lord's name in vain. But Richard Nixon, on May 13th, 1971, tape recording, referred to the Bohemian Grove. Right, he was invited there. He went there, and I think he only stood a day or so. And he said it was the most faggoty, I'm not gonna say the rest, thing you could ever imagine. And how they greet each other, it's going to make me puke in my mouth by saying this. So we're all adults here. So how they greeted each other is like they took their pants down, bent over, and you kissed their anus. Literally. Not figuratively, literally. Disgusting. Imagine that old man Bush bending over and you got to, yeah. So sorry to make you guys puke in your mouths, but yeah, that's what they do. And so, yeah, Richard Nixon's been there once, and I'm not saying Richard Nixon's a good guy, but whatever. But at least he had the common morality to never go back there again. You know, and he said it was the most faggotish place ever. And Bohemian Grove is in the Redwoods of California. And most questioned people, Alex Jones sneaking in the place. But it's a 2,700 acre camp in Monterey, California, owned by Bohemian Club, a private gentleman's club. Well, it's a gentleman's club, all right. And the list is huge. The people who go there. And again, you can't really say, oh, the people been there once like that. You know, it's the repetitive people. You know what I mean? So same thing with Jeffrey Epstein's Island. There's probably been 1 million people there that never went back because they didn't like what they seen. You know what I mean? So, yeah, it's disgusting. We're going to be doing a whole show on that. But the occult world that goes on in there. So this goes to the dollar bill and all kinds of stuff, man. So this little effigy, right? It's symbol of an owl, right? And like when you come in, it says "Weaving spiders not come here." That's that's hang on a second. So the entrance of the Bohemian Grove, right? And let me see. So this is a symbol, right? And it's an owl, because owl symbolizes wisdom and the occult. And it says, "Weaving spiders come not here." That's from a Shakespeare play. What does that mean? It leaves when you come here, leave all your cares at the door. So when they do this sacrifice, right? Some people say it's real sacrifice or a mock sacrifice to this owl god Moloch. That's Moloch. That's another image of Moloch. There's owl too. Also a beast in the he represents a beast and an owl in some cases. So it depends on the culture. But this is a sacrifice to Moloch of your care. It's called cremation of care. That's a ceremony they do. Where they all the Mongols there at night, they have this burning effigy of a mock sacrifice. And a lot of people think it's a real sacrifice of a child. And they burn it to Moloch. And they sacrifice their cares of the world. They don't care. Now, weaving spiders come here, not here. It's supposed to be leave your kids at the door. We're here to play. But the Philadelphia Project was discussed here. All the top things in the world are discussed there, like what the plans they have for civilization. Just like at the Bilderberg groups. And people from royalty comes here, Vatican clergy comes here, the top ones. Presidents, prime ministers, congressmen, all come to this place and have a faggoty good old time. And at the same time, yeah, I couldn't even, don't even want to even fathom what goes on over here. There's Richard Nixon right there. I think that's Ronald Reagan. So these people get invited there, and like some people don't come back no more. You know, the moral ones don't. But yeah, it's a secret. Well, it's not secret anymore. But yeah, and there's it's disgusting what goes on over there. And this is the world elite. That's what they do. That's coming up in a couple weeks too. So people from all over, they come to this place, and it's heavily secured now. I mean, like, you can't even get in the place. They are armed guards over there and everything. And it's crazy too, because they have witchcraft covenants in California. They pray at the entrances to bless this place. Place where a lot of people think pedophilia happens. They fly in people from places, gay people, to come in to service the Mongols. The people go, they call them Mongols, the members there, to service them sexually. You know what I mean? And and a lot of people say there's a lot of pedophilia goes on there, child sacrifice, and we don't know. But the point is, having a mock sacrifice is just as bad. And they cremate the kids. It's horrible what they do in there. And the owl's right on the dollar bill. And a lot of people don't even understand that. I got it in my documentary movie I made on the dollar bill. But it's right there, right at the top of the shield. That's Baron Rothschild's shield. So if you ever notice the dollar bill, right? You notice, let me see here. Just want a clear picture of a dollar bill. So you look at the symbols, right? And I go over this easily here. Hang on a second. Let me get to my photos, albums. Here we go. So I thought I had one in the front. All right. So hang on a second. Let me perfectly. So I just want to show you something quick. See the dollar bill right there? See, there's a circle around this one, circle on this one, circle on that's not a circle on the right one. So there's a reason for that, because that these are Ouroboros around those ones, right? This one here is a shield of Baron Rothschild. That's his shield. It was given to him by his knighting ceremony by the Queen. And you know who the Rothschild are. You know what I mean? And right on top of there sits a little owl right in the corner. There it is right there. That's a Bohemian Grove owl. And that's at mock sacrifices they do. They burn a human effigy, or a real human, to sacrifice a kids in front of this Moloch owl god. They do this every year in California. The presidents, a lot of congressmen, and everything else. Yeah, you got to be part of the club, you know. And a shield of Baron Rothschild given to him during his knighting ceremony in Wilhelmsbad. The Rothschilds, Illuminati, and the financial backbone of the Illuminati. So I think that was 1789, if I'm not mistaken. Baron Rothschild, he was the financier of the Illuminati. So the Illuminati literally took over. But the Rothschild took over the Illuminati's plans after what's the name? The Jesuit there. Yeah. So they took over the plans, took over the operation basically. And so they took over in that's when they do Council of Wilhelmsbad with the Congress of Wilhelmsbad. That's where they merged, because at the time the Illuminati was being hunted. The Knights Templar had been underground for a long, long time at that point. And the Druids, the Jacobins, what they did was they all came together in this one council, in this Congress, and they hid within the order of the Illuminati, because everybody knew, the Freemasonry. Everybody knew about Freemasonry. Nobody, cared too much about it. It was just a fraternal order. So they hid within the Blue Lodge, the first 3 degrees. They're in the circle within that, and nobody suspected nothing. And the Masons in that Blue Lodge had no clue these people even existed. So it was Proof of a Conspiracy by John Robinson. He was a secretary for Adam Weishaupt, the creator of the Bavarian Order of the Illuminati. But that's all right there. And so this whole dollar bill is corrupted. This seal here was never on the old dollar bills. The old dollar bills, you could go see. Let me see. Back of old dollar bills. Before Great Seal. Let me see. So these were the old dollar bills. Like this would look like in the back, right? And you notice in the old dollar bills, there's no Federal Reserve on it. It says, it's completely different. Silver certificate, whatever the case, and this is what the money looked like back then. And our grandfather's ages, you know what I mean? There was nothing. There was no Federal Reserve written on there, nothing like that. And the back of the dollar bill, there was no pyramids and no phoenixes like that. So the back of the dollar bill today, because it was FDR and Henry Wallace put these things on the back of the dollar bill. So it's crazy, man. Like it's like satanic right in your face. Yeah, it's like this seal was hidden from the American public for over 200 years. Thomas Jefferson had the seal. It was a double-sided seal. So one side of the seal had that eagle side, and the other one had the pyramid. And right away they used the eagle side for the presidential seal. Thomas Jefferson adopted that as a presidential seal. And the other side had this pyramid. So this was hidden from the American public for over 200 years. This seal right here. The American public had never laid the eyes on the seal until FDR put it on the back of the dollar bill. And it's like, and there's two ways for the decode this. So Doc Marquis taught me all this stuff too. So the Masonic way, there's a Masonic way, which is the public way, right? To say, oh yeah, it spells Mason, right? M-A-S-O-N, but it's, the anagram for Mason, right? But the Illuminati sequence, because you got this is a Mason sequence, right? With the hexagram, you put the hexagram in there, right? M-A-S-O-N, or Asman, which is the anagram for Mason too. So that was the Masonic sequence, but that's an exoteric meaning, which is a false meaning. The esoteric meaning, the real meaning, is this Illuminati sequence. And so basically, it goes from the 1 here on the M to A here, then the 2, then the 3, then the 4, and the 5, right? And it spells out May 1st, 1776. See, May 1st, 1776, right here in the Roman numerals. That's not July 4th, 1776. That's May 1st, 1776. And it also spells out Mason too, M-A-S-O-N, because the Illuminati are within the ranks of Freemasonry, in the circles. So this is the original sequence by the Illuminati. So May 1st, 1776 is a high satanic holiday of Beltane. And it is also the founding of the Illuminati by the Bavarian group of the Illuminati by Adam Weishaupt. He was a professor in canon law in Ingolstadt University, and he was a Jesuit. Go figure, right? So the Jesuits are the ones who created the Illuminati back in the 1500s, the original one. Ignatius Loyola. He created the Order of the Jesuits and the Order of the Illuminati. So the Order of the Illuminati was created to be concealed under the wing of the Jesuits. Then when people, for 200 years, they started getting the Illuminati is popping around, and they're starting to notice a connection between Rome and the Illuminati and all that, right? So they're starting to notice the connection between the two. And so to get the spotlight off of the Catholic Church, they flipped it over to Adam Weishaupt, who was a Jesuit himself, to officially form the Order of the Illuminati in Bavaria, Germany, to bring the spotlight off of Rome. And, it all comes from Rome. All this stuff. All this evil comes from Rome. All of it. That's why we do countless churches. And the old saying, all roads lead to Rome? There you go. Every sinister plot that's planned is from Rome, the Catholic Church. Right in there. This is just Kabbalah, diabolical crap right here. Yeah, that's crazy. So, I don't know if that was him calling back. Yeah, I think so. 530, did I have that number? Yeah, let me call him back. Hold on. This will be the last phone call, and we'll call it a night. Sorry to go off the subject, but it's like fascinating stuff. I guess no. So yeah, it's crazy though. And, if you want these pictures, guys, go to my Facebook. These are the ones I made with my research and everything. And they're in my documentary about these 4 pictures on a dollar bill and everything. I made these myself. And so they're on my Facebook. If you go to photos, you go to albums and Truth Radio info memes. So yeah, it's awesome stuff though. So and we talk about Israel, right? If you want to know what the real Israeli flag should look like, is that. So 530, you're on here. What's your name?
Oh, hey, what's up, Dan?
Hey,
this is Kevin.
What's up, Kevin?
California, man. You know the old thing hanging in whatever.
Yeah.
Hey, what's happening, man? I just called in to say hi.
What's up, brother?
I took nothing. I just took my 81-year-old mom. We went down a couple blocks. They do live music in the park. It was country tonight, so I took her out there.
Oh, nice.
It was about 88 degrees out, something like that, low 90s. We had a great time, man.
That's cool.
And I came home and I seen your program, so I was sitting there watching. Are you live right now? Are we live on this?
Yep.
Oh, I must be behind on it then. I must have rewound.
Oh, there was two shows.
Yeah.
The first one was a pre-recorded, and this one here right now is the live questions and answers show. It's the after party.
Oh, is it at the end of the pre-recorded one or something? Is it all together?
No, this is like the after party, so to speak, the questions and answers show.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my son, man, he's 19. He's all into, the Bible and God and everything.
Oh,
as
good.
He should be, right? And learning and the whole deal, right? I kind of talked to you a little bit about it in, like, text or some messages. You might have seen them, right? I think.
Yeah.
But, yeah, he was telling me the other night, about 3 nights ago, we were hanging out. It's kind of late, and we were looking at stuff, and he was telling me that he learned that there was a Shastan language, man, that is extinct, and it was in Northern California into Oregon, because I'm about 2 hours from Oregon, right? Border, 2-3 hours, about 50 miles from Mount Shasta. And I don't know, man. There's just some strange things. You guys dig it up, man. I don't know. You guys come up with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's some crazy. I mean, I'm just, wow, is all I got to say. I woke up to that thing going on with Israel and Iran, and then now they bombed Israel back, you see?
Yeah, they just hit Tel Aviv a couple hours ago or something like that, right?
Is that right? Yeah. I was at the park, man, listening to country and a little bit of Leonard Skinner. You know what I mean? But, simple man. Hey, so how you doing, Dan?
Oh, pretty good. Staying busy.
Good, bro. Yeah, I know you are, man. You guys are jamming it up, man. A lot of stuff. Stuff. I like it. I like it all. I wish I was up to date on this, but it's on the same. Am I talking on the same show that's posted right here that I was watching?
Yep. Well, yeah, we got the Q&A show, then the Knights Templar show we did earlier.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got this Knights Templar. Oh, you did that one earlier?
Yeah.
Oh, so the Q&A is just it's questions and answers.
Yep.
Like, I don't know, bro. What do you think that is hanging from my tree? Hey, man, when I was about 19 years old, me and my buddy Ernie, we were smoking buds, right? Like skunk weed back in the 80s. I love the taste of that stuff, man. And I'm 58 years old, man. I'm almost 59. So it was like we're sitting in the park and we're smoking, and my buddy Ernie looks over at this kid. He pulls in a Bronco, man. It's like 1988, say. And it was a friend of ours, Michael Mitchell's brother, and I never met him really. I kind of knew him. He's an older brother, and he's like, hey, or my friend Ernie goes, hey, it looks like it's going to snow today. And this guy, he's a little older than us, he goes, no, it's definitely not snowing. All of a sudden it starts snowing, right? And we have been reading the Bible. So we take, right before it starts snowing, we're looking across the park, right? And my friend's got a little Chevy Chevette. And he's got it on the AM radio, and this bolt of lightning comes out of the sky, man, and it's huge. It looks like a bus or like a freight train, right? I mean, huge. And it does this zigzag stuff across the sky, comes down to a point and hits my buddy's radio, and the AM radio spins across the dial, blah, 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 right? And it just starts snowing on us.
Wow.
And I look at the dude, and the dude starts his truck, backs up, and leaves, right? So me and Ernie, we take off, and we go to a back room. We break out the Bible because we were reading the Bible, And we start reading the Bible, and it said something about the sun opening up and shining light down on the angels. And as that happens, it stops snowing, and the clouds open up to the sun, shines down on us. Incredible, man. Incredible.
Wow, yeah, there's always awesome stuff with the Bible. It's like it's like never ends, so it's awesome.
Incredible, Dan. You're a kid, you're a youngster, and you're smoking. I worked for California Coolers when I was 16 years old, bottle and wine coolers. I had a taste test a case or so, a night, you know what I mean, or whatever have you. But it was like, you're not up on that stuff, you know what I mean? You're just like, whoa, what was that? You know what I mean? But, so, man, fast forward, because I was going to call in and talk to you about a few things, because my youngest son, man, he's having a problem with God and stuff like that. When I talk to him, he, rebels to me and all this stuff, nuts up on me and stuff. And so I sold a guitar. I sold a guitar on eBay, a Flying V, like a 1978 Flying V that I got from a buddy. And And I sold it to this fella, and he used to live in Las Vegas. And he said, "Oh man, you don't know how happy you made me." And I go, "What are you talking about, man? You got a hold of me through eBay." And he goes, "Oh, actually, he texted me. I gave him my number. He started talking to me. He texted me. He goes, when I was just out of high school, I bought this guitar brand new, just like this. It was a Quartz Flying V, like the equivalence of a Gibson. You know what I mean? I got like $800 or something for it. But he's like, you don't know how happy you made me. Oh, my guitar got ripped off. I lived in Las Vegas, and now I live in Florida." And he's showing me this black and white. You know what that is, right? Black and white. You guys talk about it all the time, right? That other people who believe in a different kind of Bible, a different kind of way, right?
Yeah.
The black and white type thing, right? He shows me the stuff he's making, right? And I'm sitting there, and I got another guitar, a USA Fender Strat, and I'm telling him, "Hey, man, I got this one in the closet, dude. It's from 2003. I never touched it. I've had two 2003 USA guitars. So it's like this one just sits in the closet. You might be interested." Oh, he loved the guitar, man. He's talking to me. He's asking me how much he wants for it and all this. I pull all this stuff out of the closet. It's about 12 o'clock in the afternoon, man, right? And maybe going on 1 in the afternoon, 1 p.m. And I'm sitting here, and I got the guitar out here, and I'm shooting texts back and forth with. All of a sudden, underneath my house, Dan, boom, hit so hard, my feet shake, sitting in the chair. And the epicenter of this thing, like my house, 1,400 square feet, right? So my bedroom's probably about 15, 20 feet from me right now as I'm sitting in the living room talking. And there's an entryway with a kitchen that's about, 20 feet, you know what I mean? Across, right? Length, whatever. Nice size kitchen. And somewhere in there, something reached up. There's nothing underneath my house, man. My gas store, all that. It hit so hard, my feet shook sitting in the chair in front of the TV while I'm texting the dude. He asked me how much. I didn't want to bust on him because I wanted $1,600. That's kind of a little high, but it's I'm just saying, man, it is just some supernatural stuff, man. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I was going to talk to you about that privately because I had no idea what, you know what I mean? Like, wow. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if somebody does a little something something with their little something somethings or my numbers or the name. I don't know. That's like in 2022, I took my kids to Lake Siskiyou. It's in Mount Shasta, right? And I've got these pictures. I took pictures of the fireworks. And in the firework is a lizard's head, man.
Wow.
In the firework. When it sprays the phosphorus or whatever, and it makes those little lines inside the middle of the firework? There is literally a lizard's head inside with the eyes inside the firework, and then another firework is a blast of a white light, and it looks like an old Cherokee Indian, man. The whole firework is not round, it's not old. It is a Cherokee Indian's head.
Oh, wow.
It's incredible. It's incredible, bro. I was watching Justin Fuel Brothers, right?
Yep.
I remember Tom Horn and them, they did that collaboration, that video. He put something out on End Time Production earlier today. I woke up and I watched it, and he was talking about the Cherokee Indian stuff and the stuff, and I didn't know about that, in Mount Shasta and the caverns under, supposedly, whatever have you.
Yep.
Under the Mount Shasta. All this, man, it's spooky up here, buddy.
Yeah. That's crazy, man.
It is, dude. I was going to talk to you privately. But
yeah.
I mean, why not let the listeners listen? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So it started when I was a kid too, man. Because I was talking to John Pounder as well, his wife, I think, when I first started talking to David Carrico about that thing that you seen that I sent to you.
Yep.
And I was talking to John, and somewhere, I think I was watching something like his old video, and he said something about seeing this white bright light behind him. Like a light. Like, dude, I read in the Bible before that Satan or Lucifer, or whatever, he's not pure enough to be a bright white light, but it's kind of a bluish powdery, right? I seen that when I was a young kid, man, like a bluish powder, like a light blue. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I heard John talking about it before. He said way back in the day.
Oh yeah, I got calls coming in, so yeah, I'll call back later.
Let's go, though. I'm still watching that Knights Templar thing right here.
Oh,
man.
cool. Thank you, man.
All right, I just want to say hi, Dan.
Yeah, well, nice seeing you, brother. Well, hearing you from you.
I was going to talk to you about some of that stuff in private, but I guess I'll just hit you on it right now. All right, you have a nice night,
You
Dan.
too, brother. God bless.
You're doing great work, man. God bless you, man.
Thank you.
All right, buddy.
So 918 number. Yeah, somebody just called, so I'll call him here.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing? This is Dan. You're on the air. What's your name?
Steven.
Hey, what's up, Steve? How you doing?
Good. I was calling because you mentioned the Rothschilds. I called in Caravan to Midnight to John B. Wells' show.
Oh, yeah.
Told him on February 23rd, 2024, I told him sometimes I press my ear to the ground to hear the sounds of hell. I just had another Rothschild screaming, and Jacob Rothschild burned alive 3 days later. I told him for 2 years I was going to prophesy his death. I'm still in hiding, still in isolation, still rejected by the whole world. And the whole problem is that the Rothschilds killed Lincoln and Kennedy. They're in control of what's going on in Israel, between Palestine and the other 12 Illuminati families. And either the Christians are actually going to do what you said because you keep telling the truth no one wants to hear, read your Bible, obey what Jesus said, or the only way we're going to stop Armageddon is to take the stance of the prophet Joshua and hunt down the 13 Illuminati families and get rid of the shape-shifting, slithering snake men. But, you know, it's all... God don't change, you know.
Yeah.
So the Old Testament, New Testament, you know, we have the right to defend ourselves, but all these false churches are run by these Freemasons, and their Freemason satanic witchcraft goes all the way back to Egypt. That's why King Solomon, he married Pharaoh's daughter in chapter 11 in 1 Kings. That's why he drew the Star of Moloch when it got to, you know, chapter 11, verses 6 and 7. And they still have that Star of Moloch on their flag now because they're ruled by the synagogue of Satan. And all the satanic symbols come from Egypt. They're in the pyramids, in the hieroglyphs, because when the world was flooded, it was only 4,800 years ago. So Noah, when he came out of the ark, he came out on January 1st when he was 601 years old. So it's like everything reset from then. And so what upsets me is in the Old Testament, God said that, you know, we as God's creation and as parents are supposed to teach our children all God's laws and commandments so that it'll be well with our children generation after generation, so they don't have all these demonic curses that we have on us, like I did and every family in America pretty much has, because I don't know anyone that doesn't have these Freemason satanic monsters hanging on their family tree. They're all over mine.
Yep.
And I'm a prophet of the living God. I was born in the middle of this trash. My dad flew Senator Ted Kennedy to Benoit, Saigon during Vietnam, and he died when I was 2 years old. And then my granddad was best man at Oral Roberts' wedding, and I got a recording of a woman talking to a man in an interview about her being raped by Oral Roberts on a satanic altar in Tulsa, Oklahoma, underneath ORU University, where she said their satanic chamber is. And I believe it.
Yeah.
Because I was molested by people who claimed they served Jesus Christ starting when I was 5 years old.
Yeah.
So, I mean, think about it. Here I'm a prophet of the living God for a fact. Told him for 2 years I was going to prophesy the death of a Rothschild because I didn't want to say Jacob straight out. I wrote it in 3 songs, put it in my book I wrote that I only send to friends, and I'm going to mail you a copy when I finish it. And I'm up to about 230 pages. But I mailed John B. a copy and read all 3 songs, telling people for a fact I am Elijah the prophet, and I am going to call fire down a second time when I get to Mount Carmel. Guess what? My biggest obstacle is Acts 7:51. They always resist the Holy Ghost, as their fathers did, so today. So who can I find in this nation to help me with everything stacked against me to cross that ocean? And it would be nice if God would just open up a portal I could walk through, or snatch me up like he did. What was the man that was giving the sermon to the man, and he baptized him, and God caught him up and he disappeared?
Oh,
what was it? Philip?
Which one?
I think it was in the book of Acts, whenever he said, well, what prevents me being baptized? We'll hop down from right now and I'll baptize you. He baptized him in the creek, and he looked up, the guy God had caught him up, and he had disappeared. Remember that story?
Oh, yeah. Would you say about Elijah the prophet?
I said, I am Elijah.
So you're actually Elijah from...
Yeah, and to correct the man that said that he believed that Melchizedek was the second witness, John the Baptist said, no, I'm not the Messiah. No, I'm not Elijah. He said, I'm one in the wilderness crying out, make straight the path for the Lord. So, yeah.
Well, the prophet Elijah has been taken up to God.
Yeah, he got took up in the whirlwind, and I come back in 1975, and I went home to 3468 Noah's Ark Road from the hospital in East Point, Georgia.
So you were born from when?
1975.
Yeah, but that's
I've been prophesying. I've been prophesying for 34
I'm sorry, brother,
years.
I'm sorry, I have to call you on that. That's a load of crap because Elijah's not reborn again like that. That's called reincarnation, which is not.
No,
biblical.
it ain't reincarnation. They didn't reincarnation. He didn't.
That's not biblical. Bro.
Elijah don't come back in the chariot of fire, bro. He
doesn't come back in the baby flesh. It doesn't come back in a woman like that. That's not biblical at all. So I don't know whoever told you that, brother. You need to repent, man, because you are not Elijah the prophet. Elijah the prophet does not come back in 1972. Elijah the prophet, he's one of the final witnesses in the end times, and we're not in the end times yet.
Yeah. We're moving into it. But
you are. You're, I love you, brother, but you are not Elijah the prophet, man.
Where does it say how he's going to return? It doesn't.
It does. They appear in the holy city.
It says.
It doesn't say they come. So if you are born in the flesh again, right? If you're born in the womb again, that means Moses would be born in the womb again. That's not true. They're going to be sent into the holy city. They're coming from heaven. That's it. They're not going to be born in the flesh and grow up to be a kid again, go through the whole life cycle again to do this. That's not how it works. You know what I mean? Like the Elijah the prophet is just going to be here. That's it. He's not going to be. He's not going to say, "All right, I want to choose you, lady, to birth him again for the second time." To grow up for the second time, to become a man for the second time, to go do this. No, that's not how it works. God's going to send. That's why when on the mountain of transfiguration, Jesus talked to the spirit of Elijah and the spirit of Moses. That's it. You know what I mean? They're going to be sent to the earth. And, as Elijah was caught up, right? Every man's appointed to die once. That's why they're going to die in the streets and then they're going to be resurrected. So he's going to. That's where it's going to happen. He's not going to be born again. And so I have to call you on that, man. I'm sorry, man. But I can't have you talking that stuff like that. That's not biblical.
Prophesied for a fact and told him I was going to prophesy Jacob Rothschild's death.
Well, you might have these things, but that could be a fact. I don't know, wasn't there? But I'm just telling you right out, you're not Elijah the prophet. That doesn't work that way. I know the scriptures. I'm not an expert in them, but I know that well.
Keep your eyes on Mount Carmel, and in the near future, and then when you see fire come down, you'll know Elijah was talking to you for a fact. God bless you, brother. And
you too. Just I'll pray for you. Sorry, guys, I had to cut that off real quick because I think he called him before, but you can't say you're Elijah the prophet, man. I'm gonna stop you right there, man, because God doesn't do that. You know, he's not gonna say, "All right, Elijah," and that means Moses would have to be born back in the flesh again. He's not gonna give you another mother and go through, the childhood things and grow up to be a man again. Doesn't do that. You know what I mean? He's just gonna send the two witnesses to the earth. That's it. Send them to the earth to do that mission. Then when they're killed by Satan, they're gonna get up. When Jesus resurrects them from the dead, they're going to brush off and walk away and be back, caught up again. So I'm just summarizing it. But yeah, there's no way in the scripture says that they're going to be born because the Bible is very specific. Like when Jesus comes back, right? You got all these clowns out there that claim that they're Jesus, and the return of Jesus. But they'll tell you, oh, my mother, I was born in, 1974 or whatever, and they'll claim to be Jesus resurrected. You don't get resurrected to the womb. When Jesus comes back, he's not coming back from somebody's womb. He's not coming back. He's coming back in the flesh. I mean, the spirit, I'm sorry. Not back in the flesh again. Just like Isaiah, Elias and Moses. They're not coming back to be born through the flesh all over again. No, this doesn't work that way. And that's where some of these other cults will get the reincarnation garbage. The Essenes are big with that. The Essenes, the Gnostics, huge with the reincarnation thing. And they're like, oh, the Bible supports reincarnating. No, the Bible does not. I have debated people, they gave me every verse. No, not one verse in the Bible that says we're reincarnated. Not one. None. Reincarnation is a pagan belief and all that stuff. So it's all garbage, really is. And Gnostics, Essenes garbage. That's what it is. Kabbalah garbage. But I forgot what his guy's name. Well, Elias, whatever. But yeah, you're not definitely the prophet Elias. Sorry, man. I'm gonna call for what it is. I'm nowhere near a prophet. I'm not anything like that. And that's the thing, guys. Anybody out there, they could be a good person in general, but anybody out there that calls themselves an apostle, a disciple, or some kind of a prophet, or anything like that, or what's the other one? A seer, right? A seer, a prophet, apostle, disciple, anything like that. You need to question them real quick, and you need to shut them down real quick because nobody deserves that type. There's no more prophets. Okay, there's 2 final prophets coming. That's it. After Jesus, there's no more prophets. And except for the final 2, I'm sorry, the 2 final witnesses that were prophets, you know what I mean? Which is Elias and Moses, So there's no more prophets to come into the world and to be, that kind of caliber of a prophet. Yeah, we prophesize of God, right? But we're not, prophets on the scale of Moses. We're not prophets on the scale of Elijah. You know what I'm saying? So, it's crazy, man. So, brother, I don't know who told you that, man, but you need to repent. Plain and simple, you need to repent of that because you're definitely not Elias. Get back to the Bible. Just had my son buy a hexagonal Bible. Called in Dan show this week, and Dan I bought my Father's Day himself. All right, so I think I'm gonna call it a night, but yeah, that was I caught that because I was like, wait, what did he say? And I was like, did he say it was Elias? I was like, no, you do. Oh, man, I feel bad for him, too. He sounds like a good guy, but, brother, I'll pray for you. Everybody, please pray for him. So we pray in your mighty name, Jesus. First of all, please forgive us all of our sins individually. And we pray, Heavenly Father, that you can help whatever this guy's real name is to repent from that blasphemy and to help him understand that he's just like us, you know what I mean? And if he wants to prophesy, it's great, but to call himself Elias, I mean, that's... Lord, I pray that you can help him. That's all I can say. And I pray that you can help everybody here, and myself too, and everybody, help us learn your word more, to be more obedient to you, and to just do your will, Lord, the best we can. And at the end of the, when it's all said and done, I just pray that you can remember me. That's all. Even if it's a little closet in heaven, I'd be happy with that. The rest is going to hell, So yeah, he needs prayers, guys. So everybody, please pray for him. And swing low, sweet chariot, Bill O'Connell. So all right, guys. So I'm cashing out for the night here. So hope you all enjoyed the presentation earlier. And some good phone calls. I think we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 long calls. So it's pretty good. So all right, guys. Love you, and don't forget about SparsiCon too. So I forgot to promote that, but we're gonna stop promoting that really heavy lately. So SparsiCon.com. So if you want tickets, it's SparsiCon.com/Dan. So love you all. God bless. Shalom, and you are the resistance.